off their chest, and there is a assertive way and a positive way we can go about doing that, especially as men and women. So well, it has an effect on us, and I'll land the plane here. I agree with everything God said as well. Shout out to KRS-One, and also one more thing. Our ancestors, when they used to chant and do their ceremonies and rituals and this, that, and the third, which we don't have to do anymore. Was that what? When we don't have to do anymore. They snatched away the drums and our music for a reason, and they wanted to have power over that. When I say them, I mean the rulers in the high places.
Thank you, Univer. Thank you. CEO, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I've heard bits and pieces of it, so pardon me if I missed somebody made these points, but really great conversation as usual. I think it was Nye. I would love to hear that Stetsasonic interview. If you want to post it in the chat, and you said you did an interview with them, man, please post it. Stetsasonic, people sleep on Stetsasonic. They were legendary. I don't know if you know Kedar Massenberg, who kind of founded the D'Angelo, Neo Soul, Erykah Badu movement, and ended up becoming the president of Motown. He was the manager director of that whole Stetsasonic thing, with them kids coming out of New York and turning it up way back in the day. So mad love for that. Just will say a couple of points if I could add to the conversation. We're really having the classic conversation of does art reflect life, or does life reflect art? And it's both a continuous cycle of both of these things impacting each other. And so I think, as you would imagine,
this is what the plea deal is for. All right? So they don't have to come out the pocket to spend money on your motherfucking ass, claiming that you know the laws and thinking that, everything is on your side, man. Look, I told people from the jump, just wait till the facts come out. Quit jumping to conclusions and quit jumping into goddamn a faction, thinking that you know what the fuck happened and you don't know shit, right? Because I guarantee you, when the facts come out, it's gonna make a lot of people, whether you black or white, it's gonna make you look stupid as fuck. Stupid as fuck on this fucking trial. It is a lot of different factors that is going to come into play when it comes to how much time they trying to offer this nigga, what the trial looks like, and what is going to be the social ramifications or the fallout of this shit is going to be. All of that shit is going to be taken into account, because right now, the case is being tried in the court of public opinion. And I don't know about y'all, but the court of public opinion does have some weight to it, especially when it comes to the jury, because the jury going to feel like they're socially pressured to go one way, even though they feel like they should go an entirely different way. We've seen that shit happen time and time again, right? So I just want y'all to just chill the fuck out, quit jumping to assumptions and conclusions, and you don't know what the fuck happened. If there's a videotape, that shit will come out, and y'all will watch that shit for yourselves. All right? Just let that shit play the fuck out. Because I don't think y'all really understand what it's like sitting in that room across from their goddamn DA, and they offering your ass a motherfucking plea deal. If you don't know what that shit is like, please shut the fuck up. Because you don't know what the fuck is going through these people's minds when they offering a plea deal and they looking at how much time they could potentially get for this bullshit. That's all I gotta say, man.
Appreciate Adrian. All right, 256.
Yeah, no, I would agree with Adrian. I would agree with Haitian that, some statements are summarily being provided because there's an alleged video out there, right? But again, nobody's seen the video except for the parties in the case and maybe some private parties that have exclusive access. What we know is that, Austin Metcalf was much bigger than Carmelo Anthony. What we also know is that Carmelo Anthony, went to a tent of another team or, school during that track meet. So it wasn't his tent, but he was getting away from the rain because it had started raining on that day. What we also know is that Austin Metcalf's brother was there, who was also much bigger than Carmelo Anthony. What his proximity was when the homicide or the killing happened to Carmelo and Austin, the brother, we don't know, right? But the bottom line is going to come down to the question of self-defense and whether or not, Carmelo initiated the confrontation. Because to my understanding, based on the facts, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is a developing thing and we still need to get the facts out, like the brother Adrian was saying. But, the initiation originally came from Austin because Carmelo wasn't in the right tent. He wasn't in the right, he wasn't with his team, right? And so he initiated that confrontation. What happened from there, we don't know, because we're speculating about a video that may or may not exist. Somebody talked about, race doesn't matter in a courtroom. And I would beg to differ, because I think it does. When you're talking about voir dire and you're talking about selecting jurors that'll ultimately make a decision about this young man's guilt, you want to know if these people have bias or not towards, let's say, black people, or bias towards people that, are defending themselves in situations where they believe that they're in imminent harm of bodily injury, right? But it's going to come back to whether the use of force was justified, whether it was reasonable, whether or not he initiated the confrontation, whether Austin initiated the confrontation, and whether he had the right to defend himself. And in Texas, I understand that you are entitled to that defense. So it is a developing story, like the brother Adrian was saying. Let's just let the facts play out, but let's not jump too quick to assumptions about things that we don't know.
Can I ask you a question? So I'm personally not one of the people who's rushed to judgment to say, Zach, I really don't know the facts. We haven't heard any bad information about either of the boys. None of them, we haven't heard anything bad about them academically, about them getting in trouble. So, all I know was from what was in the police report. But what I did notice is that there were a whole lot of people, particularly from the African American community, that were so quick to say it was self-defense. It was self-defense. Basically, doing what a lot of you guys might think the other side is doing, saying it, just saying, oh, we know for a fact it was murder. But I do see, and that kind of pisses me off, because I see so many people, just because the boy is black, they want to say, oh, it was self-defense. And then they're just going to stand up for him no matter what, when they can't possibly know that. It could have been a cold-blooded murder. We don't know. But do you think do you think it's wrong for people to prematurely declare it to be self-defense and to stand up for Carmelo?
It's not just because
I'm sorry.
I was first off.
I just here to address that, because I live here, like literally in the metro, and Pepe, I wanna give you a high five for that, but you gotta realize the people who jumped to conclusions first was the other side. You have to realize that you had people reporting this boy skipped school. You have people reporting he comes from a broken home. He was trying to steal out of their bags. You got people reporting that he was put out of school. He wasn't even supposed to be at that event there that day. I could go on and on and on about all of the assumptions that were made just off race when they realized this is a black kid and all this stuff had gone on, right? And so neither side is innocent of assumptions, which was why I came in here with Ms. Lopez earlier, because people are getting they're getting rewarded for putting out misinformation. The way social media is run, clickbait, spreading false narratives. And I'm here to tell you that the first narrative was not run by the quote unquote blacks that you're talking about. It very much was whites. I'm going to just put a name on it. And they used everything against this boy's race, right, in terms of statistics that they felt like were accurate. And it was a bunch of lies. And then when it came out that none of that was true. He comes from a 2-parent household, no blended family, right, nuclear family. The boy has a 3.7 GPA. He plays sports all year, and I'm just going with the facts. There's no bias here, right? I'm just here to disprove what you just said in terms of you viewing it from the black community. When you point a finger, you got 3 more pointing back at you, babe. So no, I'm not gonna let you sit here and say that. That's not true. White people spread false narratives far more than black people did. But neither side is innocent of that offense.
Well, that's my point. Is that like I don't think it's fair for either side to do it. To be honest.
Wait, can I say something? Let me respond. I let Tori go. Hold on, I let Tori go, but I was off the mic first. Let me say this to Pepe. It's not. I'm not even gonna do what Tori did and make it a both sides thing. I'm not gonna let you off the hook like that, Pepe. When you say you hear all these blacks assuming just because he's black, you're making these statements just because he's black to defend him. No. See, you're diminishing black wisdom to understand that it's not black folks saying that because they're black and he's black. That's not what, just like Tori broke down. It's the facts and it's the situation of all of what was being said is what drew so much by these white folks that was saying what they were saying and then trying to, what black folks do understand. Nobody was there, but what black folks definitely understand is being painted in a negative light. When black folks have been painted in a negative light, that is all everybody is doing until the jury gets on the situation and starts, deliberating on the actual facts that they get a chance to see. All of this energy, ever since this started making the social media and media in general and all that, this intention from white folks is where black folks said, hold up, we've seen this rodeo before. And so it was a matter of what was being said, like Tori just brought out. Why is clever?
Yeah, clever. Well, yeah. I actually respect.
Hold on. Let me just finish because she cut me off. Let me just finish this thought. So the point is, the actual facts and the facts of self-defense.
The point is, I was gonna find the cutest girl in here and send her fucking $20 on cash.
Clever. That's not clever. It's very unclever. Let me say this. So the reality of, again, this non-rushing to judgment and then has everything.
Like my cute girls, DM me.
Yeah.
Put her in the gulag.
$20, you want something back?
Yeah, she got Pepe.
All right. Put her on the pool.
Yeah, real quick. This is dragging it out. I would have been done in 10 seconds, but let me just say this. So again, the whole point, Pepe, is that it was just the facts. It wasn't about because he's black and other white folks, and maybe yourself, can label it that way and try to discredit the fact of just no, the actual facts is what everybody's been pushing. And so if it leans towards the favor of black person getting due justice and that upsets you, we'll say that. But it's not about black folks just siding with the black dude just because he's black. No, it's because of the fullness that Tori started bringing up. And as time has gone on, and even the mother's position in the interview with the mother, all of that is being factored in. And it's not just because, and it also is always the undercurrent of, as has been brought up and will continue to be brought up, the lack of fairness in the justice system, meaning when white folks kill some black folks, it's well documented. We see these stories a lot, and then it comes out, they were justified because they were fearful for their life. That same standard we're watching, people speaking are not applying that same standard and giving that same right of argument to Carmelo Anthony, and that throwing that all the way out the window. It's not even a thought, and that's what we're exposing. That's again, like the brother was talking about. It's 2-tiered, it's 3-tiered, 10-tiered. But it's definitely, if you black, you know exactly. That's what I was saying from the very beginning. Expecting this system all of a sudden to do justice by black folks, that'll be new territory. So again, just know that where you send your children to school.
I don't think you're being completely honest.
It's okay. To you, it's not. I know I'm being completely honest, but whether you agree with it or not, go ahead and speak your mind.
Sure. Well, I was in Lou Fax's rooms when they were talking about this. First of all, we're going to pretend like there are not, and of course on Twitter, there's a lot of racial troll accounts that, you have the pro-white side, the pro-black side.
So
there's definitely
say all blacks are on the same page. Lou Fax room.
Nobody said that.
Well, I can understand you saying you were in Lou Fax room because you were in. Make it make sense to me.
Sweet, chill. You gotta let that they finish.
I get it. I'm just trying to understand the relevance of Lou Fax room.
No one interrupted you, Sweet. Stop.
I thought we were dialoguing.
Stop. Sweet. Stop.
I would say this. Just like how we know there are racist white people, Okay, we know that they're just like we know there are black people that are really pride for their race. They don't give a fuck about white people. They exist. Okay, now, I mean, I can even think back to like O.J. Simpson. Nobody was dumb enough to believe that he didn't murder.
Really?
Guys, oh my gosh. Yo,
Nobody's
chill.
dumb enough to believe that that black people that were cheering after he's found not guilty thought somehow he actually didn't do it. They just didn't. To them, it was just like them rooting for their team. I mean, it's kind of silly.
Okay, so Pepe, how about we just say it's very unfortunate that a teenager lost his life in somebody, situation, period, right? You guys over here focusing on, like you got to get the win for the white team. And saying that basically black people are delusional, thinking that he's not guilty. But y'all the same motherfuckers that see Palestine every day and say Israel's not committed a genocide. Y'all the same motherfuckers who say don't resist. Y'all the same motherfuckers when black people get hung on trees can give two fucks. So it's very fucking funny how this is such a big deal to you guys versus just being a narrative of a child being killed. Well, so again,
did I say the race split? Did I say he was guilty or not guilty?
I'm talking about Keegan and a large majority of white people.
Real quick, Haitian, real quick.
Okay, that's my brother.
You made a lot of assumptions here. Real quick, Haitian. You made a lot I'm going to say this very, very, very quick. Free Palestine. I don't like Israel, Haitian. Haitian, I hate Israel. I probably hate Israel more than you do, Haitian. But let me say this. But let me also say this. Again, blacks, especially in America, are probably, other than Jews, are the second strongest when it comes to right? They are the most ethnic-centric race, other than Jews, in America. They will support their kind, whether or not, without doubt.
Both white people. That's great.
Or innocent. White people, on the other hand, and I posted a study earlier that shows this, that white people, without no.
Yeah, that is a crazy assertion.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna post a study again. Everyone can read it.
Do you think studies matter? They don't care about studies. They're black.
But you they don't care about studies. White people change the narrative to make the white lies turn not all of a sudden not to be fucking lies. Like, bro, who the fuck you think you're gaslighting in 2025, bro?
Keegan, you know we have the word coon.
Y'all do the most idiot shit. The world is fucked up globally because of the white man.
Wait. Do any other ethnic have the word coon in their vocabulary? Black people are the only ones who have the word coon. We are not race loyal. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't call them coons. I call them well-trained blacks.
Haitian. Well-trained black? I got a lot of white pictures too.
How is he using that kind of language in front of all of these black men on the stage? Those are not your words. He is violating.
Hey, quit chipping out.
That's what we're gonna do.
Go on mute. Quit chipping out. Hey. Stop chipping out. Let's have some decorum, black people. Hey, black people. Hey, black people. Hey, black people. Don't prove the stereotypes right. Let's have some decorum. Right now is your time to shine and not prove the stereotypes correct.
Nah, fuck that. I'm amongst white trash.
Hold on, Negro. Relax. So to answer your question, how are these people able to use such language? It's called the First Amendment here in America, and people have free speech. So there are people on the stage who have actually fought for the First Amendment, and we understand it. So if you haven't fought for the First Amendment, I'd advise you probably be best to shut the fuck up and allow people to speak and not get too emotionally triggered.
Actually, I have fought for the First Amendment, number one. Please and thank you. I have fought for the First Amendment.
Hold on, sir. Relax. You're not dying. You don't have no bruises
Some
or
of us
something.
have
What I
fought
said.
for the First Amendment, but that does not change the fact. Number one, it's not church, ma'am, to you. Unless, of course, your mom sounds like I do, you need to stop.
Sir. You don't tell me what I need to do. You need to stop being so emotionally triggered. Look at your body. You have no cuts, bruises, or scars from anything that's been said on the stage. So let's act like it and be mature.
let the
Sig,
man
what you said doesn't apply.
Well,
The
and
First
real
Amendment.
quick,
Wait,
everyone,
hold
real
on.
quick,
I just
real
wanted to
quick.
correct.
Real quick, and I'm gonna open the stage up. I promise. All right, but we gotta have a little bit of decorum. People on both sides will say offensive things. Haitian came on, was talking about male monkeys, and very quickly was being racist, right? So let's just be clear here. Let's have a little bit of decorum. And I hate that black woman did leave because I was gonna tell her that I was gonna give her the space. Sid, just so you know, this is Black Queen Friday for me, so we are allowing black queens to speak. I do love my independent black queens. All right, we're gonna open up the stage again. I know that there's a lot of opinions being here, so go ahead.
I just wanted to correct.
We're gonna go King, then 256, and then we'll open.
Add nerd.
I'll go after Nerd.
Let's do Nerd, because Nerd hasn't spoken yet, and then we'll go King, and we'll go 256.
Okay, so I'll keep this quick. I have credible information from a second cousin down there that said Metcalf brothers had done some odd and strange things to black women. They had made some comments at, house parties in reference to wanting to smut out black women. They had also had some bullying altercations. Now, 2 black women are currently being interviewed, and they're not allowed to speak. They are on, what is it called, a hush order from the whatever prosecution and the judge or the DA. So hopefully it will come out in the next. I hope it doesn't take too damn long, because from what I heard, their statements are pretty clear that the Metcalf brothers have a history of being belligerent to black people. So there's your motive right there. I guess we'll see with this video. But that has to be taken into account, the history of the people involved. That's all I got to say.
So, somebody before me, I'm gonna keep it shorter.
King, I didn't know if King was there.
Go ahead, 256. I'll go after you.
The first point, Sig was talking about First Amendment protections, and First Amendment protections your freedom of speech. There's no implication of First Amendment if it's a private citizen that you're claiming that's precluding you from making whatever speech that you're claiming is you're not being allowed to say. So if it's a government actor acting in their official capacity, then you can say there's a First Amendment violation. But if it's just a private citizen or just these people on stage, the First Amendment doesn't apply. I'll say that first. The second point is, we know that black people aren't entitled to the same presumption of innocence as people of other races do. We know that for a fact, and it's supported by statistics. Black people are 8 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted than white folks. And 80% of the wrongful convictions in which people were later exonerated and those convictions were overturned are of black people. So we know that we're not entitled to the same presumption of innocence, right? And did you guys see when the Metcalf boy's dad came to a press conference of the Carmelo Anthony family? What do y'all think would have happened if the shoe was on the other foot and Carmelo Anthony's dad came to the Metcalf family's press conference?
He would have got lynched.
How do y'all think that would have?
He would have gotten lynched. He would have gotten lynched for sure.
Have you guys heard about a hypothetical question?
Wait, you asked the question, 2256. As soon as Austin Metcalf's dad got to the press conference, he was immediately escorted out. And then after that press conference, when the White Lives Matter people tried to use Austin Metcalf's face as a way to stoke the race war that you guys love so much, his dad fleeced him. His dad didn't even know that, because the way that the White Lives Matter called Austin Metcalf's dad, he didn't even know he was on speaker. He didn't even know the media was listening. Austin Metcalf's dad fleeced him and said, take my son's photo off of your webpage. I denounce everything that you're doing and everything that you represent. That's what he did. Right. And trying to say that if the shoe was on the other foot in 2025, that if a black father if the shoe was on the other foot, that he'd be lynched in broad daylight.
No doubt.
This is why no doubt about it, bro. He'd be lynched in broad daylight.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's why a black person would never have the audacity.
Yeah, right.
You'll never see it because a black person would never do it.
Real quick, sweet. Let's let G land his plane first. Guys, we gotta have some decorum to have the conversation.
No, because 256, he asked a question in the middle of the submission, so I don't have any problem with the back and forth. He can finish and then King can go. But like, we be over exaggerating so much and crying wolf so much. The time of white guilt is over because of people like Sweet. I'm gonna have to live the rest of my life with no white guilt. No fucking DEI, no fucking white people being afraid of me because I can tell on them and shit. Because of this over exaggerating shit, bro.
Okay, yeah. You can live your life however you want to, bro. That's not my problem. You talk to your therapist how you want to live your life. But all I'm saying is this, bro. We all know that how that situation would have played out. Reverse all the scenario, make everything that was white black and everything that was black white. And you have the black father coming up there in this highly charged area with these white folks. Bro, you know no black person alive would even do no shit like that. So because it's understood, motherfucker, you will be met with extreme animus that is uncontrollable by these white folks. And your ass, it would have been understood that y'all was an act of aggression and your ass would have been dealt the fuck with. It didn't play out like that with Austin's father because black folks don't get down like that. But to say if it was in reverse, I don't know what planet you live in, if it's white or black or sometimes, I don't know that shit. But again, speak to your own therapist about how you're going to live the rest of your life. I'm clear how I'm living mine, bro, and I know what the fuck I'm up against out here. You play with your own emotions if you want to. My child ain't going over there with school with none of them. I promise you that.
I don't commit crimes, so I'm fine.
Well, you do it, then you're going to be all right. You'll be all right.
But you don't have to repeat the double
And don't defend yourself. Don't be in a white neighborhood and defend yourself when two white boys come upon you. Don't defend yourself.
Yo, 256, mute up, please. I'm telling you guys, we can have the conversation. You guys have to show some fucking mic etiquette. Quit jumping off mic. Let G and Sweet finish up their dialogue here for another few seconds, and then 256, you can jump.
Y'all, I was saying, geez, you don't have to understand it, but the reason the brother asked the question, because it was those that understand, that ain't on two sides of being black sometimes and white sometimes, and don't know what the fuck they are. Those black folks that really understand, they know goddamn well, and white folks know too, shit, it would have been a whole different scenario, bro. To include the possibility of a very strong likelihood of lynching his ass, shit. It would have been understood as an act of aggression, bringing up here insensitive, and you just gonna be in our face just coming up here like it ain't shit. Bro, you try that sometimes to create the scenario and see how.
So is being pro-black meaning that you just have to say the craziest things and no one can be like, all right, bro, like discrimination exists, but you're saying that in a press conference, all the white
why are we belaboring this point?
Cameras.
Yeah, I don't know why.
We disagree. Can we move on?
We won't disagree. Can get the next speaker speak, please, for the room.
All right, so 256, 256.
Somebody else can go. No, I think Sweet was fleshed out my point well. Somebody else can have the mic.
All right, King, if you want to go, you have the mic.
Yeah, I want to push back on this notion of white guilt that G keeps speaking about. White guilt doesn't exist, and my observation is that there hasn't been any inclusion or advancement of most minority groups, including Jews, that didn't have to be enforced by some type of government intervention, legislation, or protection. Like I mentioned before, in spite of what one of these fools tried to suggest about in-group favoritism, trying to suggest that whites had the less in-group favoritism. White people, they fight the hardest to keep themselves segregated, to keep their schools segregated, in spite of legal legislations, trying to integrate the society to make us all equal and make us less likely to believe bullshit about one another. We know that the private school movement, the Christian school movement, was actually, it originated after the Civil Rights Act, and it was because people, the churches in the South, they established these Christian schools so that people wouldn't have to send their children to school, to integrated schools. That's how Christian schools got started. It became a racial issue. This is how, guys really need to do your history, like seriously. So, this whole shit about white guilt, like, I don't know what the fuck you say it, but it just doesn't hit for me.
But King, what did I say?
And hold on, and one more thing, and just I want you to keep in mind that the whole, first of all, whiteness is a construct. White people are quote unquote white people are different, right? There's always been Quakers and abolitionists and people who had the intelligence enough to know that individuals are individuals, that don't believe in race science and all this other motherfucking bullshit. People who interpreted their Christianity or their religious practice and saw people through God's eyes. All people, not just people with the same skin color. So, there have always been people who have been racialized as white in this country that have not been for white supremacist bullshit, right? So I think that that's just some people that exist in the world who have that belief. But I don't believe in this notion of white guilt. I don't think it exists. And maybe you can, I think that white fear is a thing, and maybe that people are fearful to say the quiet parts out loud because they fear sanction, because it's illegal, right? We have EEOC, or up until about a few months ago, we had legal protections, so we wouldn't have to be harassed and discriminated against at work and have to be abused at work, right? Now they can say the quiet part out loud. So, but it's not that it wasn't there. And goddamn, who didn't know that it was there, seething beneath the surface? This is America. Nobody has forgotten. So that's what I wanted to share.
Okay, a chance to respond, G. You wanted to fire back at Keek.
Yeah, the Queen speaks nice. Maybe it's my tone of voice, but I literally said verbatim that white guilt doesn't exist. And then she was speaking like she was speaking against that. So like I'm sitting here, I'm like agreeing with everything that she's saying, because that's what I said, that white guilt doesn't exist. So
okay, so let me.
You said specifically that you think that you said something to the effect that black people, that white guilt was no longer a thing, and white people don't have to do this white guilt thing. You said that was...
Yeah, so I said that white guilt doesn't exist, but...
Right,
so
you guys said the same thing. Beautiful. Can I say something? I don't want to just pick a fight when there's no fight. You guys, you don't have to fight.
Real quick.
Let me say
what he says.
Real quick. Because I do read the chat. I'm one of the moderators who do like to read the chat. And what I want to say real quick is that very clearly, I want to make this very, very clear. The article shows that there is new footage that's been reported on. So I don't know why everyone's like, this doesn't show anything. Guys, we're not going to see the footage until the case is done. So I don't know why everyone's like, this isn't big news. This is pretty big news.
Probably because we haven't seen it, Keegan. So now it's hearsay at best. I was just going to say this idea that King raised up, whether G agrees or not, I don't know. We'll find out in a second. The idea that legislation from day one in America, pick a date, 1776, prior to, whatever. From day one, there have been white savagery going on towards indigenous people, whether they're Jewish, whether they're black, whether they, whatever. And so this idea of trying to put legislation to rein that savagery in and say, hold up, man, in this just society, we can't just do that shit. All that racist white supremacist shit and just hang them up. We're not doing that no more. We putting laws in to try to rein those asses in. Look, goddammit, we're trying to build a society here to live up to these words in this Constitution. We said 3/5 and shit, but we're trying to change that. But we got to start making some laws to, thou shalt not sleep with your neighbor's wife type shit. Like, don't do that no more. Thou shalt not kill these motherfuckers, okay? So that's against the law now. Wasn't always that way, but now from this point on, you can't just do that to Jewish people and shit, okay? You can't just do that to black folks. You have to do things with justice. I know it's difficult, but that's the whole point of a lot of the legalities of it, to try to rein in some savagery. Let's just be clear about that. And then when we see, no matter what, certain neighborhoods, they're not going to rein it in. And like, well, okay, fuck it. Well, I don't know. We tried type shit.
Okay, I just find it real quick, I just find it really convenient how they're not releasing this footage. Yeah, the Trayvon Martin incident, the phone calls are released. The footage for George Floyd was released. Seems like whenever it fits the narrative that a black person is being oppressed or murdered or killed, the evidence just comes out, to give the public opinion. I'm sorry, to give the court of public opinion that leverage to lean towards a certain narrative. But in this case, if they're reporting that, hey, there was no altercation, and it contradicts this black man being targeted by two racist Southern Texas white boys, all of a sudden we don't want to release the footage. I just noticed.
I mean,
exactly.
I said this earlier about the court of public opinion. This case has already been tried and adjudicated in the court of public opinion already. They're just going through the fucking formalities of taking this shit. People already have their minds made up. People already are situated on which side of the fence they want to be, right? And there's no amount of evidence or video footage that is going to sway people's minds. They already got that shit made the fuck up. And it's evident, listening to this conversation, that a lot of people in here have their minds made up. There's no swaying. So I don't even understand what the fuck is being debated here, because we know how this shit goes. Like you said, Sig, good point about the whole Trayvon Martin shit. I'll take it a step further. Kyle Rittenhouse, right? It's people, believe it or not, it's people on this app that still believe
he killed black people.
He shot black people. I bullshit you not. It's people on this app that think he shot black people. And he didn't shoot a single black person. And even when the trial took place, even before the trial, people were calling for that boy's death. Not only just black people, white people as well.
But
white people was calling for his death.
Though.
I know, right? I know,
He
but
shot white people, so.
Well, what I'm saying is, people jump to conclusions and assumptions all the fucking time, even without even having all the facts, including our president at that one time jumped to a conclusion and assumption. Went on TV and called that boy a white supremacist. And I'm not sitting here defending Kyle Rittenhouse. Nah, I'm just sitting here telling people, slow the fuck down and wait till the facts come the fuck out. Because honestly, if you want to try to sound like a professor right now, when all the facts come out, you're going to look like a dumbass with a dunce cap on your head. And people are too egotistical to admit when they were wrong. And they're not going to admit they were wrong, that they got it wrong on this shit. So just get the fuck back, people.
I do have a question, though, right? If there were footage that were to come out, and there's footage that shows that he wasn't touched first, and he was the initial attacker, would it change some people's minds?
Hell yeah. It'll change some people's minds. Hell yeah.
Yeah, not mine, but I'll tell you why.
In here.
I'm in here, so yeah, in here, it will change my mind.
I want to hear the individual. I want to hear the individual who said no, it won't change my mind.
Yeah, mine. It's not going to change mine. I'll tell you why. If you didn't touch him, right? Because you guys, this dude Adrian, y'all just got to talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse, when he murdered the first guy never touched him, and he was completely unarmed. Never touched him. And yet, hold on. Stop.
Please allow him to finish.
Stop. So the first guy he shot and killed not only was unarmed, but didn't touch him. Not only that, because this is to address what Adrian also said, he said people was calling him a white supremacist. Yeah, people was calling him a white supremacist because he was caught on video saying he wanted to go to the protest to murder black people. This is what Kyle said. And yet the racist ass system said, we're not going to introduce this in the trial. We're not going to put this in. You thumbs it down, but I'll give you a fact. This just proves white people don't like facts. They hate facts. Or you're a black guy, I guess. Hey, you're a black guy. You know, you weirdos don't like facts. The fact of the matter is he said that, and they didn't even allow it in the trial. Okay? The judge said it's not germane. It is germane, because it's intent on why he was there in the fucking first place. So anyway, look, I know a lot of you guys like to have revisionist history. This is how white people are, conservatives are. Y'all don't actually like real history because your history is a fucked up history. But the truth is, Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist. And this guy, he felt Austin Metcalf. Let me be very clear. I live in Dallas, right? My best friend, his son, literally went to the same school as Carmelo Anthony, right? I could tell you so much about not only the kid, but what's going on. The kid was a good kid, right? But let me tell you something. The kid himself said he acted in self-defense and he felt threatened, okay? So to me, the litmus test comes down to whether or not he felt threatened. If he felt threatened, that is the litmus test that I have, period.
See, here's my thing. If it came out
he still hasn't explained. Can we have Al speak more? Because he still has to wait. Give me a second. He still hasn't explained why, if we see the evidence,
if he felt
the white boy isn't.
He did explain it, G. He just explained it, bro. You don't have to like his answer, but
No, I didn't. Wait, yo, stop yelling. Yo, Al, I don't think he explained it.
It was very clear.
Oh my God.
Hold on. It's very simple.
So what's the explanation?
I made the comparison with Kyle Rittenhouse because nobody touched him. Right? Kyle Rittenhouse specifically said, well, he said he wanted to harm me, so I killed him. That's what he said, right? So in this case, Carmelo Anthony, he could say the same thing. If Carmelo Anthony is saying, hey, this guy said he was going to kill me or give me great bodily harm, then he felt threatened, that's enough. Period.
But you didn't work.
It works for Carmelo Anthony.
I have to respond to him.
Can I answer Shai's question?
No.
Bro, you're not going to change his mind, G.
Everyone, please, this is my room. I don't care. I don't care if you have the chance. Al, the difference is between Carmelo Anthony and Kyle Rittenhouse. We have a video of Kyle Rittenhouse being chased down. He had to turn around because he was being ran down by these individuals. He didn't walk up.
It doesn't give you the authority to
down.
kill somebody.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can say, well, he was feel threatened. Yeah, because he was being chased down.
Can I please respond to this?
I want to make something clear on this.
No. Hold on, wait, bro. Because you check.
But you did some coon shit, nigga.
Hold on, bro.
Yeah.
I know I'm a coon, completely opposite of niggas. I know I'm a coon, right? What the fuck? The fuck is we talking about? Look, bro.
Crazy.
This is crazy that we're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse and Carmelo Anthony, right? When we know for a fact there was a trial that happened, right? A lot of y'all didn't tune into the trial. A lot of y'all didn't care to tune into the trial because you already had your minds made up.
I watched the whole.
But during the trial, actual evidence came out. Matter of fact, the FBI produced video that they were recording that night of the whole entire thing.
They had an aerial.
Exactly.
Drone.
They had a drone.
Exactly. Literally.
Hold on.
Yeah, G, you gotta hold on 1 second, Adrian. Guys, please, I'm asking you, as mature adults, Adrian is speaking. Don't come off your mic. Let him finish his point, and then somebody else can go next. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah. The FBI had a drone, showed the entire sequence of events that happened. The first guy that you referenced is claiming that he didn't touch him. He grabbed his firearm, sir. I don't know if you
grabbed his firearm.
I need you to chill.
Al, hold on. Al, please.
My bad. All right, go ahead.
Stay on mute.
My bad.
No, look. We didn't allow anybody to interrupt you.
Right. My bad.
You said it was factually incorrect, but we're gonna let you have a chance to respond, Adrian.
Yeah. He grabbed his firearm. Anyone who's been around firearms and handled firearms regularly and know about firearm safety and the self-defense, once you try to grab someone's firearm and try to disarm them, you are essentially a threat at that point. And I have every right to blast your motherfucking ass, right? I don't care if you disagree or agree with me on this. This is a fact, right? Please learn what self-defense means and what the duties is of a person claiming self-defense is. Kyle Rittenhouse fled for his fucking life because people tried to shoot him, right? And they actually tried to goddamn assault him and take his firearm. He had every right to blast their ass. Regardless of the fact, if you said there is video of him, and I highly doubt there is video until you prove it, that he said he was going to the protest to shoot black people, he didn't shoot any black people. Regardless of what he said. All of his victims were white. Every single one of them. And the black man that tried to kick him in the face, he didn't shoot him. Didn't do a fucking thing to him. So it's irrelevant that you bring up a video that you just referenced. Like I said, I highly doubt it exists, right? To make your point and push a narrative that he was a white supremacist, it don't hold water, bro.
Okay.
So I encourage you.
We get back to what Shy
I
asked.
need
I
need you to eat your pudding cup, bro, because I think your blood sugar low.
Guys, hold on. Sweet, I'm gonna ask you again. You're not moderating around the room. Please show some decorum. You're not controlling anything that's wrong.
Okay,
right?
yes,
so
sir.
Let's give Al.
Let me know when I can talk.
Roger that. Thank you. Al, let's give Al a chance to respond. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, so first of all, this is what I mean. This dude Adrian just lied. First of all, the dude never grabbed. The fact that you said he grabbed the pistol when the footage that you're talking about shows he lunged at him. That's what it shows. He never grabbed the pistol. You just lied. That's number one.
He didn't have a pistol.
Hold on. Just relax. The second
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let you. G, if you come off on mic, anybody that comes off mic, you're getting just dropped down automatic. We're not gonna do this shit, guys. We're gonna give people respect, whether you disagree with them or agree with them. We're gonna give them the respect to get the point out.
Can I ask you something, bro? Because
no. Al has a mic right now, G. I'm asking you politely, with respect, to just stay.
I respect you. I'm gonna put myself down until we're done talking about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Okay, thank you. Al, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's number one. The dude, Adrian, literally just lied. He said he watched the trial. So first of all, the second one, if you said you watched the trial and don't know that this video, they literally suppressed the video. You said you watched the trial, you wouldn't know that. So I'm literally saying you're lying about even watching the trial. And the only reason why I brought the video up, Adrian, is because you said black people called him a white supremacist. I was giving you evidence on why black people called him a white supremacist. You did this false narrative, Adrian, by saying people said he was a white supremacist because what he did to black people. No, people called him a white supremacist because of what he said out of his own fucking mouth. I was addressing your claim, Adrian. So again, you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or you're just lying. You're just a liar. And the last point I'll make on this, right, when it comes to the Kyle Rittenhouse case, if you believe if it's okay to literally have an AR-15 and point it at people, because he pointed it at the guy that you're talking about, and the guy has no ability to do anything, and he just kill him, then okay, then I stand by my statement that Carmelo Anthony has every right. If this white dude, 240 pounds, Carmelo Anthony, 160 pounds, if this white dude, two of them, come over to him, threatening him, he had every single right to stab him.
This is clear evidence of the analogy of two screens, one movie, right? We're clearly watching two different screens here. I watched the Kyle Rittenhouse footage, and you watched it backwards. That boy ran for his life, and he defended himself, right? Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, man?
All right, so Sweet, yeah, if you want to go Sweet.
All right. What we talking about is what Shy asked a question about Carmelo. So whatever that psychosis is that has us to run over there and answer a totally different issue, somehow, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to address you, Shy. When you asked the question, I'm going to explain why I said, if it came out, for example, to your question, that we could see on a video that Carmelo walked up on these white boys and said, I don't give a goddamn. Motherfucker, I'm standing in your tent. Yeah, do something about it. I'll stab your ass, motherfuckers. I'm up under your tent. If I saw some video footage saying some shit like that, like, yeah, damn it, in fact, I'm mad about that shit you did last week or last month or whenever. You told me next time we meet, and if he came out where he was coming with that and he had that shit in his hand and walked up on him like that, that would totally change my position if the facts came out with that shit. You understand what I mean, Shy?
Yeah, thank you for answering.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Sasha, now, Sweet. So I hear what you're saying, Sweet, but that's actually not her.
I don't know what's going to come out, bro. I'm not a crystal ball Nostradamus. All I'm saying is, to her question, if that footage came out, I'm open enough to not be already locked in that, oh, shit, that didn't happen. That's very condemning, and all the videos that's played show that. Oh, shit. I have enough sense to tell you. Now, what I think that's ever going to happen? Hell no. But if it does happen like that, my brain ain't so locked in that I can't say, oh, shit, man. I was preconceived in my mind, but now that I see these facts coming out, I'm adjusting. I don't think it's ever going to come out. That's a different question, though. She said if it comes out like that, so I played the game with her along her conditional question. If this happens, then what would you do, Remus? I can do that all day long with a million topics, by the
I would love to reverse the question as well. Like if it were to come out that the opposite, that he was just, standing there innocently and these kids came up to him, fucked with him, and pushed him or shoved him, hit him, whatever first, would it change the minds of those who believe he should be in jail for life?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. I think Shy, from the conversation we've had around this Carmelo Anthony case, I've heard overwhelmingly, especially when it came out that that it was thought that Metcalf put hands on Carmelo first. I heard a lot of people say, you know what, I don't condone Carmelo resorting to deadly force because of that, but we can at least understand that, hey, if someone put hands on first, they toppled that first domino, and then the rest of the dominoes fell after that, after that situation. So me, myself, yeah, if evidence came out and showed, Metcalf put him in a situation where, it was reasonable for him to be in fear of his life to use deadly force, absolutely. The truth is the most important.
So let me
actually the truth isn't the truth isn't the most important thing, because in 2025, 2024, 2022, 2023, when we have video evidence, 360 infrared evidence by the government, all types of cameras, 80 witnesses at a track meet, you're going to see it doesn't matter how this case goes for Carmelo. It won't matter. What's the most entertaining thing is what people want to believe. It doesn't matter how it goes. That's the best thing about the race war. The best thing about the race war is that the facts don't matter. Only what people want to believe, so that their side can win a battle. World War III is about to start, if it hasn't already started, and I'm interested to see who's going to win in the race war. Who's going to win?
Well, and what I'll say is that if it came out that Carmelo Anthony came up and grabbed him and shoved him to the ground, and I mean, it looks threatening. It looks like life is on the line there. I would still support him, because for 400 years, black have had their knees on our necks, and this is just us going through, I mean,
black men have had their knees on our neck. Is that what you meant to say?
He meant what he said.
Black men have had their knees on white people's necks.
Sweet.
Well, let me finish my point. Okay, the prejudice, racism, the constant life that white men have to go through. The reaction that
Hey, Keegan, you're coming in low, bro. I don't know, something happened with your Bluetooth or whatever, but yeah, you're coming in low.
You know what? This is Clubhouse. They're trying to. Of course, when a white man starts speaking,
now you're clear. You're clear now, bro. You're loud and clear.
No, well, Isaac just came on stage. Isaac, I know he's gonna have a great opinion on this. Isaac, what do you think?
I didn't see the video, but I'm just gonna ask. It shows him actually stabbing him. I'm going to assume, right?
The video hasn't come out yet. The article, if you click the link at the top, you're gonna see that supposedly the video was given. I think a few media outlets got to saw the video, about 2 of them, and those media outlets who saw the video said that it showed something else. If you click on the Twitter link, you're going to see. But there's no video yet, so it's still hearsay. And in my opinion, I don't think it matters if the video comes out just because of how human. What did they say it showed? It showed. Just click on the link. Just click on the link at the top. What it showed, bro. You can. Yo, it's so. Just say it. Just say it. No, he said that there's people that said that it showed something.
They are saying that it shows Carmelo stabbing him without provocation.
This is my room.
Oh, wow.
It says, this is based on the Daily News, who saw the video and reported on it. They say that it shows the lack of evidence of obvious physical altercation that happened. So they said there is no obvious physical altercation based off of the footage that they were allowed to review. This is the footage that they have. They don't have anything else. They confiscated all those phones. They couldn't find any footage on this.
Yeah, that's consistent with what people said.
I just read
it. He said he threatened them.
I got it.
It says no physical confrontation, quote unquote. That's exactly what I clicked on the link, and it said.
I got it. I heard it. My opinion is we all still have to wait until we have full evidence and a better view of the full story, because me personally, I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to this. I'm not going to lie, there's more important things to focus on, but the actual issue is we need to wait for the full report. I mean, this only happened a couple of months ago, and it's in the state of Texas. If anyone knows about Texas, these guys process a lot of deaths and a lot of crimes. So this particular thing, going through all the proper procedure, is going to take maybe what, maybe another month, maybe another 2 months before we get anything that's actually substantial and verified. So to be quite honest, anyone that thinks that, oh, you should be on the side because it says that they're lying about, no, I'm on the side of what is the full story. Like all of these sensational big cases that for some reason has been coming up every 3 to 6 months nonstop for the past 7 years. I really don't understand where this whole thing, black and white, is coming from, because we need to be quite honest. I remember a day where we're all Americans, and if anyone wants to go about, oh, look at the black man getting punished by the white racial justice system, no, he stabbed a guy, okay? Whether it was self-defense or not, that's what happened. So until we have the full story, and until the police corroborate the full story, guess what that means? We are going to wait until all the evidence comes out. Then we can make a decision. Screaming about racism 24/7, yeah, Keegan's right. That's going to get tiresome for everyone. So please don't do it.
Well, Keegan, I'll say congratulations on creating a title that drew everybody in, because I thought there might have been a smoking gun. But when I saw the article that you put up the top there, it says there was no physical confrontation, quote unquote. But let me say this, for those that don't know, there's been many reported situations where people have stood their ground, where prior to that, there was absolutely no physical contact at all, let alone a confrontation. So defining physical confrontation, it doesn't change any calculus at all. We still got to wait and see what it shows. But again, if your bent is leaning a certain way, oh, he's guilty, oh, the smoking gun, and oh, it's blood is on his hands. They say that based off saying, okay, there's no physical to my mind. So I'm open to the facts. There can be no physical confrontation prior to, but it could have been a whole lot of fear still present inside of Carmelo Anthony, and it could have been a touch. There could have been putting hands on Carmelo, and that might not be raised to the level of a physical confrontation prior to, but it very well could have been that boy, man, Carmelo Anthony feared for his life. So I'm waiting to see the facts myself. But again, Keegan, good job at creating a title in the hallways of Clubhouse to get folks coming in, and people probably thinking they're gonna see some footage that corroborates, oh, he's guilty. That new footage shows he's guilty. I think that's a stretch.
Yeah,
but
it is a little bit of clickbaity, but at the same time, even after hearing your response, I mean, I used to run track, And I guess the only way that a person can, sometimes people help you stretch. I mean, if he was being touched by Austin and it wasn't a confrontation, maybe Austin was helping him stretch his hamstrings. I don't know, like stretch his quads. Maybe Austin was giving him a back massage. Or if he wasn't touching him at all, I mean, the only time I've seen a person get off on self-defense for killing a person and they weren't the person being touched is if the person that they killed is posing a grave threat to another person. Well, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like this is the case.
Okay.
In this case, so like when you start to have when you start to do this like mental gymnastics and you start to like hypothesize and use your imagination to really fill in blanks that are so far in between, bro, people just start to roll their eyes and realize, you're just doing this because he's a black
that's
kid.
what I'm. G, you're arguing my case.
I mean? So
you're arguing my case.
I want him to get off. I want him. It's not that I want him to get off. I don't want the book to be thrown at him.
Yeah.
And the way that you talk, like this energy that you have, is the reason why the book is about to be thrown at him, because he's not taking a plea because he thinks he can beat it.
I know you got a crystal ball. I know you got a crystal ball. I know you got a crystal ball, and I can't explain why you don't know about the situation where a white guy heard some loud music with some other black dudes that pulled up at a store or something, and then he killed them. So I can't explain why you don't know. Yes, understanding his ground. So I don't know why. I don't know why you don't know about that, and I don't.
No, show me the case.
I don't have whether I show it to you, or not. I get that you don't know about that. But
You're
because
talking
you
about
don't
the
know
case
about
where it was like a 70-something-year-old who was violently shoved on his ass by like a 20-something-year-old black man.
No, that's not what I'm talking about, bro. That's not what I'm talking about. So, but beside that, though, physical confrontation. I've been in many scenarios in life, maybe nobody else has, I'm sure many people have though, where someone can sum it up a certain way, a very real situation, and can sum it up. Well, there was no physical confrontation. Well, that's a judgment call, and we're going to see the footage, and here's what I'm saying. So, was there a knockdown, drag-out fight prior to? I don't think anybody's ever argued that there was. So how you define physical confrontation? But that, to me, again, is a far reach from, you're going to lock this man up now, and he's guilty because of whatever that says, and we haven't seen anything. That's what you're talking about, G. That's the rush to judgment I don't hear you having any problem with. But you ready to just quickly assume that means, oh, yeah, guilty, and all this other stuff because of Texas, whatever you're saying, bro. But the facts remain. Coming calmly back to, let's just see what it shows. And then people are going to be like, oh, see, I told you, on whatever side they're on. That's all I'm saying, because there's a strong bias already in it, and nobody on this stage, including Keegan, has seen anything. We're just going off of something that somebody reported about. There was no physical confrontation.
And that's what I wanted to get into. This is coming from the Texas Bureau Chief, according to the link up top. And the Texas Bureau Chief, and I'll read this, is a senior reporter or journalist in charge of a media organization's desk dedicated to covering news across the state of Texas. It's a leadership role with a focus on guiding statewide coverage, managing reporters, and coordinating with the outlet's main newsroom, often based in another city like New York or Washington. So that's who's reporting this in that link. So just so everybody's clear. But I know 256 wanted to chime in. We want to give you the mic. 256. What do you got?
Well, I mean, obviously there was no physical confrontation because there was a stabbing that led to a death. The real question is whether or not Austin initiated that confrontation. And I think they're throwing the book at him because he is black, let's be honest. Because they could have charged this case is charged as a first-degree murder. That's akin to capital murder in Texas. That's as high as it gets. This was more of a negligent type of situation, if anything, or a lesser type of homicide. The facts do not comport with a first-degree murder. They just don't.
How not?
I think
it just has to be premeditated, and it can be within a matter of instance. But a lot of people get it. Just for shooting somebody in an argument, you generally get premeditated murder. You thought about it beforehand.
Yeah,
that's fine. But it wasn't premeditated.
But plunging a knife in someone's chest, I mean, just like firing a handgun, any reasonable person would think, and that's why he's going to trial, would think that is a deadly. You're using deadly force at that point.
Well, no.
Yeah.
See,
This is the evidence we
what
do have.
they would use as premeditation is the fact that he brought the knife to begin with.
That's not true.
That's not premeditated.
That's not premeditated. So typically, second-degree murder. Yeah, and I have to agree with 256 on this one. Usually, when it's in if they call it a crime of passion or in the heat of the moment, that's second degree. So imagine if this had been a husband and a wife, a domestic situation, right? And the wife and husband got into an argument, and the wife decided, you know what, fuck this motherfucker. I'm pissed off right now, fuck him. Or she caught him cheating, right? She walked in the house, he's in bed with another woman, and she grabs a gun and shoots them both. Premeditated murder would be overkill, and most likely would not be the charge that would stick. It would have to be second degree murder. And in this situation, in order for the state to prove that this was first degree, they would have to prove that there was some conspiracy that ahead of time Carmelo Anthony planned on coming to this event solely for the purpose of killing Austin Metcalf. But it seems like there was an altercation.
Him bringing a knife wouldn't be an example.
Hold on one second, Shai. So what it seems like is there was an altercation right at that moment, and then at the heat of the moment, Carmelo Anthony responded, and it would be, I think 256 is right, manslaughter or second degree murder at that.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So can I read this real quick?
Let Shai hold on. Let Shai respond.
Shai ain't saying shit.
Shut up, bitch.
Concrete. Go ahead, Shai.
So with the crime of passion, yeah, like the husband and wife.
You're the only bitch I see.
Yo,
would be a would be different because they have knives in their home already, right? It's not like they're bringing it with them somewhere, right? That would be a little bit different. That would be evidence of premeditation had they, cheated on each other or something, or Courtney Tubbs cheating, and then they brought the knife with them to kill them. I figured that would be how it went. But with this situation, there would be no reason for him to bring a knife to a track meet, right? Unless he intended to use it.
And that's a fair point, Shai, because we actually dug into this. Because Texas is one of these one-off states that has weird laws. We understood that, on school grounds, especially on school grounds, you can't carry any type of weapon. But actually, when this first came out, we actually dug, and according to the school district and Texas code, they have a restriction. You're allowed to carry a knife that's less than 5 inches in length anywhere in that state that you want, including school grounds. Anything above 5 inches is called, they got a special term for it in the state of Texas. So if the knife was over 5 inches,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we dug into that, because we were like, you're not allowed to bring a knife to school grounds, but we dug deep, and actually in Texas, you're allowed to carry a knife that's less than 5 inches anyway.
Yeah, but I don't like to talk about things that are not relevant to the case, because obviously when this happened, wait, why am I?
Bro, you kind of interrupted me, bro.
I still don't get it. Why is
Guys. To be fair, Concrete was trying to go after shots. So let's pass it.
Oh, my bad. Can I?
No, you're good. No harm, no foul, brother. And then Musanda's new on stage. We got OG.
All right, then I'm gonna go after Musanda. I have no problem.
And just for the record, I love Shy, even though she's an asshole. Anyway, so what I did was, y'all niggas are posting X links and people's opinions who, I don't know, are verified or credentialed or credible. And so CBS News actually has written a little article about this, right? And I'll read a couple of paragraphs to get to the gist of my statement. Frisco Independent School District has released surveillance footage of a deadly stabbing that occurred during a track meet in April, but only under strict conditions. Under Texas open records law, requesters may view such video in some cases but are not permitted to record it. The video begins several minutes before the altercation between Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. Here's the key part. The camera positioned near the press box captures half of the field at Kendall Stadium. The tent where the incident occurs is located in the bleachers near the 50-yard line. Due to the camera's distance, individuals are not easily identifiable. That means a lot. At approximately 9:55 a.m., a sudden movement is seen under the tent, followed by interaction between two figures. Frisco ISD officials say this is the moment the stabbing occurred. Several people are seen walking or running away while others approach the area. So, what you guys were talking about earlier is that there was a level of detail where somebody could make a pronouncement that there was no physical altercation. And obviously, based on what CBS is reporting, this isn't easily identifiable. You can't even see who the people are. That has to tell you that they're at some distance, because we understand that one is black and one is white, where it should be easily identifiable who is who, right? But since it's the case that this is reporting that they're not easily, I can read it again if anybody is like doubting this, but I would suggest you go to CBS News before you go to X for your information.
It's funny enough, I was going to reference that. My question now was to, I guess, the blacks. Is if there is more video footage that shows that Kamalo is at fault, are you gonna start not siding with him anymore and side with the white guy?
That's what Shai already asked that question.
Oh, I didn't know. I just came back.
Oh, yeah. Well, just a quick summary. If the facts, wherever the facts lead, I'm cool with it. I'm not stuck on no black-white shit. If, whatever the fuck it is, it is. That's where I'm at. So, contrary to Pepe and everybody else telling you that Blue Facts Room and OJ or what the fuck ever, everybody black is on the same page. That's bullshit right there, man. Whatever the facts are.
I said a lot of you are doing it because of race. Like, I never said they're all black.
I don't know why they bring this in.
So what?
Even if it's not me. It's not a problem.
So what?
So what? That's a good point.
Well, look,
like,
if there are people who sorry, Masana, if there are people who are defending him because of race, so what?
Well, then they can't complain.
That was the point of the room.
So, well, if that's the case, if you say, so what, then you guys obviously can't complain if white people do it.
So
but
what?
I would say the logical thing would be that if you don't know all the facts, which I don't, because that's why I haven't claimed either, guilt or not for Carmelo Anthony, because I really don't know all the facts. But it seems like I am listening to some black people wanting an excuse to still stand up for Carmelo Anthony.
So what?
And what do you mean? So what?
You keep bringing it up like it's a problem, and
it is a problem.
What's the issue? What's the issue?
It is a problem because it's unreasonable.
Oh, okay. So, do you ever do anything that's unreasonable? All right, Masana, you got it, bro.
What are the whites going to do to retaliate if the blacks are...
It's almost like do unreasonable things, so what?
So why even talk about it? Why be in the room?
What? So you can't talk about things that aren't unreasonable?
So what?
So what? That was a question.
No, I'm asking you a question.
That was a question, not a statement.
No, I know what it is. I'm saying, so what? Like, why do you care that people are caring about something that doesn't matter?
I care because I'm curious, obviously, about why they brought it up.
Yeah, but your curiosity, so what?
What you mean, so what? You asked a question, you got an answer.
All right.
You asked a question, you got an answer.
All right. Yeah, well, I would just say it is actually a good gauge for me to kind of like measure how are black people. The people that will stand up for Carmelo Anthony, kind of regardless of not knowing the facts, I would say these are people that are no different than white nationalists or white racists. They're going to ride with their people no matter what. And, I like seeing that. I like it, even though they won't flat out say it. I mean, it says a lot to me. And I know that a lot of, at least when it comes to getting along with black people or thinking that you can reason with them, it kind of shows me that with a lot of you, we can't. You guys are just, and there's no reason we should extend any courtesy to be reasonable.
Yeah, so what?
It's almost like people are tribalistic, like human beings are tribalistic naturally, right?
Pepe, what do you think the whites are going to retaliate to do? That's what we want to hear. What do you think the whites are going to do? Like the blacks keep supporting the whites, regardless of what the video shows.
Well, I think blacks are, if they keep on performing how they've been performing for the last, 60 fucking years, no matter who's a majority, Hispanics, Asians, they're going to still be doing poorly. I mean, it's hard to.
So what? So what?
The question is, that's what he's saying. So what? What are whites gonna do about it?
I don't think whites will do anything in particular, but I do think society as a whole in America, they no matter the color, they're gonna, if anything, they'll just.
Pepe,
what can they do? If black people fail, they fail.
So why do you care if they fail? So what?
So
if black people continue to lose, no matter who's the dominant culture, so what? We're gonna keep losing. So what?
Yeah.
Right?
What's the response to that, Pepe?
Yeah, like so what? Who cares?
What's the response to that?
Oh, nothing. I mean, I think that.
Why'd you bring it up?
Shut the fuck up.
Why'd you bring
Concrete.
it up?
Okay, it's getting annoying. So what I would say is that, let's say when there's more Hispanics and Asians and whites, blacks can say, oh, slavery.
Oh, he just wants to cry.
But then, they have sob stories of their own, and they're really not going to give a shit about black people's sob stories.
So what?
And that will be a good thing for you dumb fucking idiots.
Pepe, you're just brain dead, bro.
Do you think black people? Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think black people need white people's sympathy to progress in life?
Oh yeah, they like even like this whole FBA thing. It's like a pathetic nationalism. It's parasitic. These people, they like to brag about how they were foundational. They weren't even the ones who fought in the fucking Revolutionary War. They're not the ones who even earned the fucking freedom. I mean, but they parasitically try to claim the achievements of white people.
Are you gonna let this turn into a Pepe cry session?
Okay, do you want to get kicked?
I thought we were talking about the topic.
Will you shut the fuck up?
Black community. Yo. Pepe's only topic of discussion.
Concrete. Chill, man. Chill. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think it's pathetic.
So he's hijacking the conversation to cry. Okay.
He's talking.
I didn't hijack anything.
He can hijack.
He asked a question.
Okay, so all right. You're defending him crying. Okay, that's bad.
No, I'm defending hierarchy and respect.
Who cares about hierarchy?
What's
time? We have the conversation. These niggas need power.
No. What it is you niggas need decorum and understand that, hey, when someone comes in your space, you're gonna want the same respect. That's how it works, man.
So I want to go forward. It says, so you think black people are now going to suffer more because they won't get white sympathy?
Yes, that's precisely. I think whites are becoming less sympathetic, and I know the Hispanics aren't going to deal with their shit, and who's becoming a larger percentage of the population. Yeah, nobody's going to want to deal with it. I mean, just look what they do to black people in places like Brazil. You go to a prison, in the 70s and 80s, it was almost all black. The favelas were all black. They just shoot those fucking turds once they left the favelas because they were looked at as a fucking problem.
What? Like who
people don't want to deal with them.
I agree.
You like to hear Pepe cry?
No, he's not crying. He's being factual.
I want to ask.
In Latin America, black people are shot like fucking dogs.
Hold on, let me ask.
It's not cheap.
Let me ask Sig a question. Sig, do you like hearing Pepe cry? The conversation was interesting up until that point.
I don't give a fuck what I like or don't like hearing. I'm interested in hearing where people are coming from and understanding where they're coming from.
Well, Concrete, you're still here.
I don't care.
Do you want us to start crying about white people?
Hold on. Shut the fuck up, Concrete.
Hold on, bro. Don't talk to me like that. I'm not your bitch, bro.
Well, nigga, I'm gonna talk to you how the fuck I want to talk to you.
You on that whole shit.
Right now.
You're on that whole shit.
So what I'm saying is, Concrete.
Yeah,
bye. Get the fuck out of here. Go change your little fucking tampon.
What a whiny.
But yeah, I know. But again, I don't give a fuck what someone says, as far as getting emotionally charged and triggered. I remove my emotions from the conversation so that way I can understand where they're coming from and then have the conversation. And then if I don't agree with them, oh fucking well. But I'll have respect for them if they're able to articulate their point, so at least I'm able to understand it. That's just as good. But Holly, welcome to the stage. Yasser, OG, any of you guys want to grab the mic?
Yeah, Holly's probably off the line, you know what I mean, mid Friday afternoon. I look at the name of the title, Carmelo Anthony guilty, and then I see Pepe's modded. So I'm going to bring my black ass in here, and then I'm going to be surprised when I hear some racist shit, right? That's the only thing that be confusing me, gang. Like, that's the only thing that I'm like, y'all know what y'all about to hear. like, you know what I mean? Like we say every single day. Yesterday was Juneteenth. And while I was celebrating Juneteenth, I was like, bro, like, there isn't a single day that we don't talk about systematic racism. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, but we talk about what this country is every single day. And then when it happens, we're like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like we just saw Bigfoot in the wild or some shit. I don't know, man. I'm kind of jaded a little bit. I'm ready for the race war. I'm trying to have this American experiment crash into a brick wall as soon as possible because we want a race war. This is what we want. And I just don't know if we're ready for it.
When you say we, G, who do you mean?
I mean, the American public. It seems like the American public wants a race war. So let's just have it already.
What if Pepe is correct? I want to ask this point, right? On a sense of, he realizes that majority of black people have everything because of white sympathy. And if white black, they're just gonna say we won't help you. And I'm presuming most white people predict this, that the blacks are just gonna ask the whites for forgiveness. Because the reality is, I don't know why people want to go towards a race war. Like you did during the civil rights. You begged the whites to understand you. You didn't do a race war. No, I'm just saying in general, in the West, none of you blacks have ever done a race war. You begged yourself in quote-unquote civil rights. So, I mean, let's be honest here. You don't even have the numbers for most part. And that's why maybe you begged yourself. By the way, this is not an attack on anybody. I'm just saying from an outside view of this, because I'm not in the middle.
No, and you're absolutely right, Masanda. Like, it is pretty pathetic that we sit here and talk all this cash shit, but then all we end up doing is begging. And then when we actually do take physical action, right, to physically let the world know that we're pissed off, we just firebomb our own shit. We just destroy our own shit. Like, it's literally like me being pissed off at my next door neighbor, so I light my house on fire because I'm pissed off at my next door neighbor for what they did to me. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense, and it looks really...
And then when your neighbor says, hey, it's kind of dumb that you lit your house on fire, you call them racist again.
Exactly, right, exactly, right.
Niggas.
The other part is, I think there's a lot of projectiles here, for most parts, of people that maybe want to go to race war, but the reality is they don't really define the populist. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but the populace, and maybe white people know this deeply, that the populace are so integrated into the system, they barely even care. I mean, fine, Commander Anthony raised over $500,000. But the reality is, if all the black Americans were all united to support this guy, who would have raised a lot more than that? Right? This is a select few of a select few of a select few who actually have the means to actually donate. Right? I'll presume majority of black Americans probably have their own struggles. I'm just presuming. That could be.
I mean, I would say this. I don't want a race war. I don't think most people don't. Like, no, I don't want to see, like, innocent, hardworking black Americans getting fucked with, let alone, like, hurt. I just want, in a magical world, I could wave a wand and black people would, a whole bunch of them would stop being that 6-letter word, and I think the country would be a lot better. That's miracles can happen, I guess. I don't know.
Fine. But Pepe, I want to understand, how can you have a race war with somebody who's going to work on Monday? Somebody who drinks coffee, bunching, and whatever.
I don't think anybody would have a race war. No, because people are too comfortable to have a revolution or a race war.
Exactly. I was just about to say the thing I find absolutely retarded, and those of you who are in the room that do know me on the Black Side of Clubhouse, yeah, it's Isaac. Hello. Here's the reality. America is way too comfortable to fire a gun. To fire a gun is a bit emotionally taxing once you get accommodated to how just good America is. Like, you don't have to go to trek miles upon miles to hunt food. We still have places like that around the world, by the way. There's a few places, but they exist. You don't have to scrounge garbage, sewage, and everything else to find edible food. Looks at India, parts of China. And you don't have to have some weirdo cultural system to not be banned from making money because your culture is weird. Looks at Japan entirely. This is the United States of America, where once you get your social security number, once you're an adult, or once you're verified as a citizen, you can now go work at the local McDonald's if you can't get a job anywhere else. And it might not be the best life. It might not be the extravagant one that you see. But you can get a place on that income or shack up with other people, right? And most of your problems, I'm not going to say they're going to go away. You're going to be doing better than the majority of the world. Because the rest of the world, they got to scrounge to live. I'm talking scrounge, where you won't get paid for the next 3 months. European countries, by the way. You are not going to have a job for the next 2 years. This is a place where your issues are solved the moment you start working. And the moment you start getting a lot more money, yeah, you can be trapped in a high income place like California. But as long as you're making enough money to where your bills are paid on time, you're getting enough food, your electrical expenses and your entertainment is more or less paid every single month, no one is going to do anything when life is that good. And that's the actual reality. Life is too good in America to have a race war. It really is. If you think it's not, the poorest people in our country have better living experiences than kings throughout all of history. Kings, men that went to war, that has directed entire battle formations or paid someone or hired someone to do so. They live better than these people. They have lived better than Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Mansa Musa, one of the richest men in history. Mansa Musa would sell his entire country to bring his family to America if he lived today. And that is the thing that people don't seem to get about this race war. Your life, you would not trade your TV, your Netflix, your streaming, the wife that you go home to and cooks you dinner, the side piece that you get dicked down by every other 3 Fridays. You ain't trading none of that to go to war. Do not have any illusions that you would. Because the moment you think you would, trust me, there's going to be a psycho, a true, actual warfighter at your door with a gun saying, where do you want to do this? And you're going to go right back to your comfortable life. So please stop saying this crap. No one's doing it.
Yeah, the second thing, Isaac. Listen, man, the second thing about it is this, right? Now, since, I got a phone call. No, it's not bad.
Yo, Doctor, welcome to the stage, man. Did you wanna take a stab?
Hey, what's up, guys? So, what are we talking about? The standards of living, or like now, or the Carmelo Anthony case?
It meandered.
Yeah, it'd be entered, but the original topic was the link that this is Keegan's room, but Keegan posted a link that the Texas chief, what was it, Texas bureau chief, yeah, for the Daily Mail, has viewed the footage and said that the footage shows no physical confrontation between Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony before the stabbing. So we were discussing that and kind of delved off a little bit.
Yeah, well, then here's the thing, man. I thought that chance, even though I thought it was wrong, like I believe in, protecting yourself, the Second Amendment, all that stuff, but you better make sure that you have a reason to use it, if you're going to take someone's life. And so I never thought that even if it was pushing, that it wasn't enough to, to justify killing them. But I was thinking, possibly he might get away in this racially charged woke world. But if that's the case, there was no physical confrontation, and I don't know how he can get off. Carmelo Anthony, and people are going to be freaking out. The certain people, either on the left
What's
or
he mean by certain people?
Oh, you know who he's talking about. They'll have
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and this young black man very well could be that he had an N-word moment, and he's gonna spend the rest of his monkey life in prison, in the monkey cage, because he didn't know how to behave. He's
What do you
violent.
mean by monkey?
Well, like at a zoo, monkeys are behind bars. They can't behave.
You talking about Carmelo?
Are you gonna let a chimpanzee out in the public? It can rip your face off if it gets mad.
I'm bad.
And he'll stab people in the chest.
Let me explain it. This type of white-black relationship that you think, I'm gonna put on pause for a second. Yeah, it's not. Black men and white men, from an outsider coming from Mexico, right? Your grandfather and stuff wasn't here. We don't have this type of cynical, deep hatred. Like, we have issues, right? But it's not to that degree what you think. All white men is not going to be like, one day wake up in the morning time and be like, oh yeah, Pepe said let's kill all black people, right?
When did I say that? No. When did I say that? When did I say that? I said I'm against violence. I said violent people need to go in the monkey cage. I'm against violence.
So a race war that we look at Ukraine, right? Russia has about 1.2 million soldiers. Ukraine has about 600,000, right? And look at the disruption. If some type of civil war, right, with 44 million black people happen, right, in this nation, it's going to collapse the nation, and our enemies will come in to capitalize on it, and it won't be in America.
Yeah, I'm against a race war. Somebody just asked me that question. I said I'm against a race war.
All right, perfect.
Well, civil war,
I think a lot of people most people are against the race war, but a lot of people are for the race war. And I think the people who are for the race war should just get it back in blood. Like, there's a lot of people who are for it. There's a lot of black people who, what they want to do is they want to do to the white man what the white man did onto them. An eye for an eye. And I'm
they can't win, though, bro. They can't win.
You tell them that. Because I think a civil war would be more likely and stuff, but for a race war is so silly. And you don't see, black people aren't a monolith, even though they do vote a lot of the same. But I mean, because of your limited population, that's just not enough. If you had even a little bit of divide among your community, it's just not quite enough, bro. It wouldn't work out for you.
I'm going to explain to a lot of these people that think, oh, we're going to win the race war because blah, 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 we can physically overpower white people and all this other crap that they're saying. Okay, let's just give that thought for a second. Let's say you're right. You know how many black people are going to sign up for the United States government when they say, hey, go kill the people that probably killed your friends when you were children, and we're going to pay you to do it? Dude, that would be the quickest draft in history. You would have multiple amounts of black men saying, wait, you're going to pay us to go into these places while you quarantine to put every single one of these people down that's on this, and we get benefits for it? Yeah, that's how the U.S. government works. It's not going to send a wave of people at you. It's going to say, okay, we're sending these people at you. And they will use other black people, if any sort of race war pops up, to go and fight other black people. They do this in other countries. They literally use other countries to fight that country. What do you think is going to happen here, where they have all your communications, where they have all your logistics, where they have everything they need to win, and you're basically a sitting duck?
Well, this is why I've always thought like talk of a race war is stupid, but to the people, the black people in particular, who think that somehow like you could feasibly win. I mean, white people have the majority of the guns. When it comes to the people that actually use their guns and have any kind of marksmanship, it's going to be weighted very heavily, particularly on Midwesterners and Northwestern too, and Southern white Americans. New York City probably doesn't have any white people that really know how to shoot, but then think of who has all the fucking money, who has control, just logistically, who can ship ammunition places, like whatever supplies you need. Like, how the fuck would that work out? Like, you guys are so vastly outnumbered. Like, I'm somebody who's against a race war, and I'm saying, like, you guys should, I mean, for your own good, like, it's not a viable option for you guys. I mean, it's just silly.
It's your lack of understanding. I'm gonna say it again. Every white person in America won't like we fight. Some white people we fight on our side because what you're doing is they're morally corrupt, and white men and black men been fighting together for centuries now. This type of cynical, type of imaginary type of war in your mind because you lack knowledge.
They fought together.
Your ancestors are not from this.
When was segregation?
Country, so you don't. I have a lot of white. We have black men in America have white male friends.
Okay, I think Nathan.
Go ask Sid.
Nathan, I think you. Yes, I know. No, Nathan, I think you caught me like trolling. People like to say I'm not white, and I'm a Mexican white from Arizona. So I've been trolling like the people like in the room last night. Yeah, they know I'm not a Mexican. But actually, the person, with my last name came to this country in 1605. So I am a white American with long ties back here, at least on one side of the family. Now, I'm not, nobody's, a race war is like a hypothetical, and it's just so fucking stupid and animalistic. I'm not saying it's likely. It's just like people started bringing it up. I think it was G that brought it up.
No,
I'm just saying it's stupid.
I think it was a movie I watched, man, and the situation, what I'm trying to explain is this. Yeah, we might lose, right? But I think when the battle was, I forgot what movie it was, whatever, the one side won. And then the invaders came in. Because, you know what I mean? It's like America will be weakened. I mean, we have enemies around, and they don't give a fuck if you're black or white. As long as you're American, that's it. They want to wipe us out, right? So people just got to really.
Did you reference movies too during COVID? Is that the way you thought it was going to go?
I was going to ask Nathan something on that.
I think it was like
Can I ask Nathan something? Hold on. Guys, hold on. Could this be why we're not mentioned in the Bible? Like America is maybe they're not going to get taken out by, well, they're just going to become, there's either going to be a race war or a civil war that makes us up. And it makes us like not powerful as we know it, and that's why we're not mentioned in the Bible. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it, man. Like maybe America will break up and just be not America as we know it, and that's why there's nothing
America
mentioned.
Founded for whites of good character.
Right now, bro.
What did the first Congress of the United States say about citizens? What did they want?
I don't know. Tell us.
Whites of good character.
Yeah, our very first Congress.
Men of good character.
Very first Immigration Act.
White nation.
So I'm saying, could it be a race war or a civil war that breaks us up?
As it was.
The only way to defeat your enemies
I think we'll have a class war. I think we'll have a class war before we have a race war. There'll be a class war. There'll be a class war.
So a civil war. Yeah, I think it's left against the right.
Same way. The war's not going to happen in the same way. It's not going to be as organized as the first Civil War. It's going to be in different pockets across the country. It's going to be more sporadic, more chaotic. But I don't think that's going to split up the Union. I think that's towards the end of the movie. I think what's going to split up the Union is us overextending our empire in World War III. That's just literally just started. Russia said that if the United States or the West does anything to fuck with Iran, they're gonna. If we do anything major when it comes to
Russia said they're staying out.
It's done. It's done already.
Russia said they were staying out.
Russia can't do shit, bro.
Russia just publicly stated that they're not getting involved in the conflict between Israel, the United States, and Iran.
No, they said the opposite. They said that the United States or Israel does anything tactical to stop the program, because what the Russians did is the Russians put their own scientists inside
if they use a tactical nuke If they use on Iran,
It's not just a
nuclear
tactical
bomb, they
nuke,
would
it's
use
bigger.
one against Ukraine.
It's bigger than a tactical nuke because if we try to destroy their nuclear facilities, we're going to be killing Russian scientists as well, and then they're going to loop themselves into the conflict.
Nathan, what are you talking about right now?
He's saying that it's only about the United States using a nuke or Israel using a nuke. It's not just about Israel using a nuke because the Russians literally put nuclear scientists inside of these Iranian.
No, they didn't. What are you?
That's what Putin said. That's what they just said. I think 1 hour ago.
When did Putin say this? Because I know
This is less than 24
Well, then
hours
they would be in
old.
breach.
This is incredibly. This is something that's
Russia,
happening right now.
Then Russia would be in breach of its signatory to the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. So
then they're in breach of it. They're in breach of a lot of things, right? They just invaded Ukraine. They're in breach of a lot of things. It turns out that Putin doesn't give a fuck about.
Well, guess what?
This is what he fucking said.
Do you think that if
Russian
someone
scientists are in
killed
these facilities,
war,
and that if there's any,
are you naive enough to believe that if someone or a couple of people, do you realize that Turkey shot down a Russian fighter jet in like 2016, 2017, and nothing happened? They killed the pilot. Just because there's a death doesn't mean it's guaranteed that another country
I'm
will be
not
drawn
saying
into war.
guaranteed.
Why didn't
but
Russia,
I'm saying that
Turkey, listen, Turkey's a NATO member. They put in a Russian jet. Why didn't then Russia attack Turkey, and then why didn't NATO respond? Because it never happened. Just because some person may die who's not even meant to be there, it doesn't mean shit. It's not going to happen. It's not going to guarantee war.
The problem that you don't understand about the relationship between Russia and Iran, they are not allies. They are not on good terms. Iran and Russia, because you forgotten, Russia went to the Middle East before America, the whole of it, Iraq and Iran, and they attacked those people. So the moment I heard the Russians put nuclear science, no, they didn't. They got nuclear facilities.
I think you're making judgments based on information that you had in the past, and you're not watching on how this
Iran is
evolving. And
they are relying on it. So Russia, since the sanctions, since they started the war in Ukraine, they've been relying on Iran for a lot of shit.
Iranian drones. Literally, let me just say this: relationships. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, Isaac. So you have to realize this too as well.
J.I., I'm not dismissing that part, but what I'm saying is because of that event, and recently Iranian side, the people, they will not accept that. They might sell things to Russia, but they are not friends with Russia. Russia would put nuclear facilities in Africa, and they have nuclear facilities in Africa before Iran. Because they do not
Isaac, that is your political opinion, and that opinion is being countered by current facts right now that you can just look up. You can just look it up. It's not me saying it. It's not me saying it. This is something that has emerged in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
So and if you think about it at all, none of these countries are friends. Europe isn't even our friend. It's about an alignment of interest.
You know what? I think
that's what it's about.
The conversation.
At this time, the interests of China, Russia, and Iran are aligned.
Yes,
just like how the Soviet Union in one of the world's wars was our ally.
You guys, I want to say this. I want to ask.
When the Nazis went away, they were our enemies. So friends and enemies always change in these things, and it's changed. It changed a long time.
All right, G, hold on a second, everybody. Hold on a second. So I know this isn't a room. Keegan, do you want to change it? Like, since
I want to hear we can do World War III because that
we can do like America first. Will not die for Israel or some shit.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
not
go ahead and change it, Pepe.
Yeah, okay. Change it, yeah.
Yeah, we're not dying.
So we don't need to. That way we don't. Us blacks and whites, we can. Us blacks and whites can now be on the same side as Americans, and we can talk about not dying for foreign interests.
Exactly, because one thing that people need to understand: just because Russia does business with you does not mean Russia is going to protect you. So someone saying Putin just said this, I highly doubt that. because Russian policy with other countries is not to protect them. It is to protect
Doesn't
their
stop
business.
Syria from falling. Syria was able to fall, and Russia didn't intervene. They weren't able to stop it.
You're missing the point. It's really about China, man.
China intervening is more likely, but Russia intervening, I doubt it. They would just pull their people out, because here's the thing: the United States will tell Russia we're about to bomb the hell out of Iran. They will do that. We have enough communication to that'll happen. So even if it is a facility there, which I highly doubt, because the Russians are lawbreakers internationally, but they're not retarded. They would just get their people out before the bomb dropped. So I'm really failing to see why people think Russia going to join a war when they are already, one, fighting one, and then two, Putin has said plenty of times that she is not interested in joining a global war. He doesn't care. If it is not a problem that Russia has to deal with, they will watch entire countries bomb each other. They do it to the Middle East and Africa all the time, and they have business with multiple countries.
Okay, guys, let's stop talking about Russia, but let's talk about what's going on. And God damn it, Nathan, did you have something to say about the new topic, or do you want to chime in about the old one?
Let him land it.
Trying to redirect.
Yo, Pepe, let him finish up the last point, and then.
Oh my God! All right, hurry up, Nathan.
Yeah, my bad. Because everybody been cutting me out like 15 long-winded cutting me off, and I'm trying to make the point is that we don't give a fuck about Iran with nuclear bombs. Israel don't give a fuck about that. It's about a long-term, not the short-term situation, but more long-term. And people are missing it. Things they're not saying on the news, right? It's the thing that they're worried about. It's about China. China is growing their military right now to surpass Russia to the likes we've never seen before in this world. That's what's happening right now. Everybody look at the map, and you look at Iran. It's a closer launch point to China. That's why we're doing this type of thing. It might, crush Iran to put our military bases there. What comes after the military base? Long-range, short-range missiles. That's why this is an important location for us if a battle, opens up with China. And it cuts off China oil supply, which is Iran as well. You need oil to fuel the war, right? So that's what it's really about. Russia, they really don't care, like Isaac said, about Iran like that, but they do care and don't want some type of United States footprint in that area, because they do have an allegiance with China as well, with getting weaponry, drones. They get drones from. That's why North Korea actually said things about helping out Iran. So it is some type of alliance, whether we like it or not.
Well, Nathan, I'll tell you why I disagree, though. All right, in 2002, America came out, and there were 7 Middle East countries that they wanted to have regime change in. Right, Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran were part of those nations. Well, guess what we've done? Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria. We haven't got Iran yet. It's taking place in a much more confined area with a long effect. My point is that, and if I'm getting the right bar, you guys can.
You're in Matrix.
The reason why we want regime change in the Middle East. Am I in the Matrix? Am I out?
Now you're out. Now you're out.
Everyone good? Okay. So, but my point is, the reason why we want the Middle East, the reason why we have regime change war in the Middle East, and we've tried this in Cuba, we've tried this in Venezuela, we've tried this in, we even tried it with Russia at one point, right? If we don't feel like you're a threat to the United States, if you don't have a nuclear arsenal, then we will try to change you. We just will. We're the world police. That's what we do. So Iran saying we want to have nuclear capabilities is just them trying to be sovereign, trying to keep their existence alive, right? North Korea has the same thing. North Korea wishes death to America every single day. China wishes death to American imperialism every single day. No one gives it. No one blinks an eye. But when Israel says Iran's a threat to us, we have to stand up and we say, well, that's our greatest ally. Again, I believe that Israel has a larger effect to our American government than probably most people think. But yeah, Iran, this situation with Iran has been going on for 30 years now. And this is just the Israel striking, knowing that they have the full back of the presidency right now. So they're like, okay, we can do what we want. And whether or not the American public wants it, Trump is going to back us militarily. So that's what's actually going on.
Iran has attacked American interests numerous times, including in the past year. And today, Iran made a terror attack in London, UK.
Really?
In case anybody cares.
And
really.
how many people did they kill?
It looks like there's about 7 on the ground. I just was watching video. I haven't got a count yet.
Oh, wow. And
You mean
they said Iran was responsible for it?
IRGC, Iranian Genocide Regime. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm not. I personally, and I think the IRGC is bad. I mean, I'm not gonna.
You mean that 2 people were arrested for assault? Is this what you're considering an attack?
No, I'm talking about the terror attack on the by IRGC, the Iranian Genocide Regime, on pro-regime Iranians in London.
Hey, where's the sound? I'm looking for it, bro.
What I'm reading from the BBC is arrests of 2 assaulted outside Iranian embassy.
Keep reading.
All
I'm not seeing any shocking terror event.
So you didn't see that the Iranian Genocide Regime did a terror attack in London?
2 for assault. There's no mention of terror. British police arrest 6 men on suspicion of grievous bodily harm.
Huh. What would you call that?
A pub fight.
Except it wasn't in a pub, and it was political, making it...
That's amazing. No.
Making it...
If it's not listed as terror, the Jews can't make it terror.
I'm not making it anything.
Modern day terrorism, you should understand this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing it, like, even on Twitter. Weird.
I know, but don't get in the way. Don't let the truth get in the way of it.
All right, well, let's before this London attack, El Normo, you did make the case that Iran has attacked American interests in the past year.
In the past year, 170 times. American servicemen all over the Middle East, men and women. And not to mention our commercial ships.
I thought this was Israel's fight, and they didn't need nobody.
Well, to be fair, that is why that forget who it is who got Jinsu bladed in Iran. I mean, there are a lot of American troops that got some were killed because they were constantly firing those rockets at military bases with the American troops in Iraq in the past. So.
Well, yeah. What about the shaped charges that they were given to to these militants that were attacking American soldiers?
Sure.
Iranian soldiers, yeah.
But the like when we went into Iraq, a civil war basically broke out largely between Shia and Sunnis, and the Shias, obviously Iran ended up sending in a lot of people, or a lot of Iranians came in to fight with the Shias. Side of the Shias, I should say, and a lot of them received training from the Iranian government, got weapons from them, and so Iran, was, they were attacking U.S. Bases. I mean, the IRGC does suck. I'm not gonna.
Well, again, I think that the point that a lot of America First individuals will make El Normo of why Iran has been attacking and why we've had this conflict in the Middle East is, again, because we've decided to allyship ourselves with a country like Israel. I believe that if we weren't involved with Israel, and I believe if we weren't involved in the Middle East, that we would have safe communication, through trade, just like we do with Saudi Arabia, just like we do with the UAE.
So
Remember,
just like Iran,
I don't agree with that at all.
Remember when they took over the embassy in 1979?
Just like Iran. Well, again, if we
in what year did the Middle East start having an issue with the United States?
So in 1979.
Guys.
Why did we have our embassy?
Please, oh my gosh, guys, please, allow me to finish my point. That, sure, even in 1979, but 1948, I'm saying this goes all the way back. We started backing Israel for a long time. I'm saying that we probably could have the same type of clear trade talks that China has with Iran to buy their crude oil, because guess what? Money talks at the end of the day. And we have backed the wrong people. That's just it. We backed the wrong people.
Why did they take over our embassy in 79? Had nothing to do with Israel.
What year did the terrorism begin?
Keegan, it's just that simple. That's just it. We just backed the wrong people. Everything would be so peaceful.
In what year did this Middle East terrorism begin against the United States?
I don't know.
Would it coincide with the creation of Israel?
I can tell you in 1979,
would it coincide with
our embassy?
Would it coincide?
Hang on.
Would it coincide with the creation of Israel?
Hang on.
Maybe Israel's the fucking problem.
Well, maybe you should tell us when it. Why don't you try to find the answer to your question? When did the Jews Okay. So why did they take over? Hang on. Why did they take our embassy in 1979?
All right. Hang on. Continue to
Why did they take our hostages in 1979? American hostages. Why did they kill our Marines in the Marine barracks in 1983?
Maybe because they allied with a fucking terror regime?
Well, that's not what they said.
Oh, really? Is that what you say that they said?
Really? Why don't you go find out then? Why, when they say death to America...
Forgive me for not trusting what a Jew says about other people.
Well, I don't trust what a schmuck says, but you're still talking.
I don't listen to Jewish words.
I don't listen to
another word? Have you another word for that one?
Find the room that says schmuck. It's down the hall. It's all for you.
That's right.
You can talk to your heart.
Keep your Yiddish bullshit to yourself.
Again.
Take your half-wit
we as Americans,
half-man, cowardly crap.
Mr. Anderson, when you do this, you engage in this conversation where you don't even, like, El Normo, when you say, they attacked an embassy in 1979, what do you have to say about that? First of all...
Say again?
You said that when they attacked, what do you have to say about when they attacked an embassy in 1979? What do you have to say about that? Well, why did they? Do you know why what was the reason why they attacked our embassy in 1979? Do you know why, El Normo?
I don't. Tell me.
You don't know why? It's because
I don't.
It's because U.S. backed at the time their leader, who was an authoritarian, and they completely disagreed with this. And the U.S. I can't pronounce his name, but it's like Shao. It was
Reza Pahlavi?
Yes.
No, we didn't back the leader. In fact, we got
yes, we did. It's been stated.
No, we didn't back the leader.
No, it's been stated that U.S. backed him.
It's the opposite.
You're completely misinformed here. We did back him.
The leader was in this country.
Show me why. Show me where we didn't back him.
You have to show. You want me to show you where we didn't? You have to show me where we did.
Show me where we did back him.
We did largely support him up until President Carter, who basically said, "Oh, we'll just let the people decide," and then he basically had to leave.
The guy was out.
We literally supported him. We supported him for.
Well, so I'm looking here. The first terrorist attack on us was 1920. It was a Wall Street bombing. So it was actually domestic terrorism. Like, I don't know, man. It's destructive.
Well, when did Islamic terrorism start?
I don't know. But it doesn't. I mean, for them to say though that because we're aligned with Israel,
the U.S. supported the Shah for decades, including him to return to power after the CIA backed a coup in 1953 that overthrew Iran's democratically elected prime minister.
No, you're incorrect about that.
I would hate us too.
You're incorrect. Okay. You're incorrect about that, first of all. Second of all, it has nothing to do with Israel. And third of all, we got the Shah out of the country so that they could take over. We facilitated that takeover by the Iranian Revolutionary Genocide Regime and the mullahs and Shah, and Ayatollah
Khomeini. More regime change war. Why is the U.S.
We didn't do regime change. The mullahs did.
No,
You
no,
weren't
you just said we
involved.
got him out.
Yeah, we let them come here for cancer treatment, and they took over. That's what happened. Read it.
It's just so funny that again, it's
The Jews and
literally
their lies.
stated. It's literally stated
What?
by.
Pepe, the first Islamic terrorist attack in America was 1992. So I'm failing to see where's whoever's saying that because we align ourselves with Israel that we're getting attacked more. That's fucking crazy.
Well, it is partially
We don't
true.
like America anyway.
It is partially true. I mean, if you were to look at like Osama bin Laden, when he declared war against the United States, he first did it on television in like 1996, and when he wrote his manifesto, the number one reason was our support of Israel. That was
No,
the
what's
main
crazy
motivation.
about that though?
Wait, Pepe.
Could it be that we're also Christian too?
Wait. The number one reason was our base in Saudi Arabia because they thought no foreign warriors should be on Islamic soil. That was the number
Yes,
one reason.
but when in his TV appearance in 1996, he mentioned Israel first.
Yeah,
Years before
it doesn't matter,
he mentioned
man.
Israel, and he said, we tired of U.S. imperialism, usurping resources from Muslim lands, military coups, dictators, and all that.
When did we ever do that? When did we choose a Muslim
U.S.
land?
has been involved. Of course, our government's involved.
When
in
we
that.
choose-
He's being
fighting. Sorry.
What
and
Muslim
fighting-
land did the
I'm
United
speaking,
States
Sorry,
use?
I've been patient listening. Just don't interrupt, please.
What Muslim
All right,
land?
No,
did
don't
the
interrupt,
United
please.
States
Don't
use?
interrupt, please. I
I'm
know.
not interrupting. I'm asking a question.
You're interrupting. Can you stop?
Yeah, hold on, Norm. Let him finish. You can ask him when he's done.
Yeah, just ask me when I'm finished. Just ask me when I'm finished.
No, he gets to
let
finish,
me-
and then he
let
can
me
ask.
speak. All right. Have some courtesy. Look, I didn't interrupt you. All right.
Stop whining like
so
a
Israel's been dragging the U.S. for decades to fight wars on its behalf.
What Muslim
There's
land
a
did the
gentleman
US
here
fight?
mentioned 7 countries in 5 years. Wesley Clark mentioned it. These are the countries Israel wants attacked. Up a weapons of mass destruction. Clay, hold on. Just look at this, guys. His character is evident for everybody to see.
What Muslim land did the
No,
US
hold on. So Israel's here, particularly Iran, he's been drumming for war for over 2 decades. Iran's on the verge of having a nuclear weapon in months, a matter of years. He said that 26 years ago. Everyone's trying to hold on. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. Just chill. I'm going to add to my time. All right. You're interrupting every 10 seconds. So, because you don't like when people are exposing the genocidal state of Israel and are supportive of it. American tax dollars should not go to this. American lives should not go towards defending a genocidal country. Iran hasn't fired any weapon over the Atlantic
You mean
Ocean.
like Iran?
And that never fired Iran, and they've actually allowed inspectors to inspect their facilities. Stringent criteria. They signed a deal with the Obama administration when Trump rescinded. And also, Israel is the pariah state is known to have nuclear weapons and refuses to allow any inspectors into its facilities. And it's an existential threat to its neighbors. Israel's been bombing in the past year. I'll finish here in like 15 seconds. Bombing Syria, bombing Lebanon, bombing Yemen, bombing Iran. They're a threat, and they're genociding Palestinians.
So when did America take so-called Muslim land? And
Hold on, can I ask you something really quickly?
Can we just
ask Dean
acknowledge
something
it's a
real quick?
nuclear weapon?
Dean, hold on, Dean.
nuclear
Hold
weapons
on,
in
Dean. Just wait
Why
a
not?
second, brother.
Sure.
Hey, man, hold on. So what's the average time? What's the average time it takes to develop a nuclear weapon? Do you know, Dean? Because it took us 3 years. So the average time. When he's saying that Iran is on the verge of getting a nuclear bomb, it doesn't matter if it was in the fucking 90s. Doesn't matter if it was in the 80s. Doesn't matter, bro. If it takes 3 years to develop a nuclear bomb, anybody's on the verge of creating one.
He said it was going to take a week the last time.
Doesn't fucking matter, bro. It doesn't matter. They're on the verge. Have you ever heard of time being hyperbolic too if there's something serious?
Like Iraq has weapons in America.
That takes very little time.
Iraq has weapons.
It takes very little time to produce a nuclear weapon.
Hey, I'm gonna give you
It doesn't matter.
just a quick response, Doctor. Quick response.
Literally heard
it does matter.
When
did
America ever take
one quick response? Just
because he wants regime change
Mr. is right.
All right,
He's
Netanyahu
few weeks.
has never been under this regime
He's
that he didn't like
replying to
the
Dr.
regime.
Mr.
All right, hold on a
Yo,
second.
mister, would you shut up for a second, bro?
Just
Bro, you're
reply
not the
quickly.
fucking mod maker.
I'll just quickly reply. 20 seconds, right? He said weeks, he said months, he said years, quoted many times over the past over 2 decades. And lastly, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence for the U.S., just said about 90 days ago, 3 months ago, you can look up in Newsweek, for those not American, Newsweek is a popular publication, news publication in America, said that Iran has no nuclear weapons. You can literally look it up. Tulsi Gabbard, the national director of intelligence, he said no nuclear weapons.
He was wrong.
Said that they did.
No, they didn't. They've never said that, Norm. They've never said that.
Can I speak after D?
She's literally the head of all the intelligence services, but she's wrong.
They did.
She's wrong.
Wait, actually, ultimately, the IA is right.
That's just
Can you make it?
Guys, seriously, we have to have some decorum. I'm gonna have to do a queue. So, who wants to be added to the?
I want to be added at the end of the queue.
You can add Norm.
Okay. Well, let's go El Normo, then we'll go Jai, and then we'll go from there. But can we?
Me too.
Okay, that's fine. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do El Normo, we're gonna do Mister, and then we're gonna do Bavam, and then we're gonna do Jai. But just have some.
Let's do
you know what?
Dr. Wise.
100%. So
No, doctor, stop. Let's go to El Normo.
this weird Islamist idea that there's such a thing as quote unquote Muslim land is odious in the West. This thing is Muslim land, except in some fundamentalist Islamic terroristic mind. That's number one. Number two, somebody said, oh, America took Muslim land and then never followed up with any examples. Then they tried to slam Israel as though Israel has ever done anything except for defensive reasons. It hasn't. Or as if Israel has ever taken land from somebody else except when it was attacked, which it never did. And ignoring the fact that Israel has always been willing to trade land for peace, as when it conquered the Sinai from the much bigger country, Egypt, and then traded the Sinai back for peace at Camp David in 1978. But lo and behold, Egypt didn't want Gaza because it's filled with Muslim fundamentalists, with the Muslim Brotherhood, and so Israel got stuck with it, even though it didn't want it. Those are facts. Then Syria attacked Israel relentlessly as the mule, as the puppet of Iran, and Israel finally got back at it by taking out Hezbollah, Iran's proxy in the region. It is a part of the Iranian government as well. Iran occupies the south of Lebanon with this Hezbollah, occupied Syria with Hezbollah, occupied Yemen with the Houthis, all of which attacked Israel relentlessly. And Israel finally said, you know what? The hell with that. We're going to attack the head of the octopus, as it should. And by the way, the International Atomic Energy Commission said on June 9th in their 94-page report to the Security Council of the United Nations, which means, by the way, it's very serious and threatens world peace, that Iran had enriched uranium to 60 to 70%. Just so you understand, civilian use is 5%. There's only one reason to enrich it to that extent, and that is to make a nuclear weapon, which is why Israel attacked now. That in combination with the fact that it took out Iran's air defenses in October, and then when they rebuilt them, took them out again on the 13th of June, just the other day. By the way, 613, the number of mitzvahs in the Torah. No accident. I'll land it there. Feel free to question any of the facts I just listed.
So Tulsi Gabbard, who's the head of the DNI, which is responsible for 17, 18, 19 different intelligence agencies, is entirely wrong when she stated that they don't have or aren't near to have nuclear weapons.
The inspectors disagreed with her.
Amazing. I thought we were having one at a time here. Amazing. Anyway, but of course, we have to go and invade Iran because they've got nuclear. weapons, but we can't go and touch Israel, even though they may have nuclear weapons.
They're our ally.
They're our according ally. To who? Have they ever fought? Did I interrupt you, nigger? Did I interrupt you, nigger?
I'm sorry, what was that word?
I'm gonna have to drop you down if you interrupt one.
That's right, because the niggers have no impulse control.
What was that word again?
Nigger. Do you want me to say it real slow?
Oh my God, I'm blushing.
All right.
Okay.
You're gonna come back up when he's.
So people should learn about how Israel has nuclear weapons. And if you don't believe me, you should look up a man called Mordecai Vanunu. He was a Israeli research, he worked at the Dimona Research Center for nuclear weapons and eventually ended up leaking information to the British press in 1986, of which the Israelis locked him up for treason, even though he's meant to be a whistleblower. Why is it then that then also when they lured him to Italy, if he didn't, if this is all lies, that Mossad lured him to Italy and fucking drugged him and abducted him back, taken him back to Israel, and which he still can't speak to this day, although that time will come out next year, he'll be allowed to speak. So this is how Israel treats people who they don't have nuclear weapons, and if they're talking about the nuclear weapons that don't exist, if that's what happens when they talk to the wider world. So if we're concerned about Iran having nuclear weapons, why are we not invading Israel if they do suspect to have nuclear weapons? If it's known since the 60s that they have nuclear weapons, JFK made Ben Gurion resign. Ben Gurion, the then sitting prime minister, for threats made because of the fact that JFK did not want Israel at that point in 1963 to have the nuclear bomb. And that's arguably why they killed him, because of his opposition to Israel having it. So Israel is not part of the non-proliferation treaty, the other countries that are signatory to. Why is a country like Iran allowed to have nuclear weapons and not be a part of the non-proliferation treaty? And the exact same is true of Israel. Israel should be invaded and allow, at a minimum, independent UN weapons inspectors. But no one wants to talk about this. Why are we allowing Israel to have nuclear weapons if we're not going to allow Iran?
Is my turn up the queue, I think?
No, I think it might be Dean and then Bahram. I don't know.
I believe it was, it's Bahram, and then we're going to go Dean.
Thank you, guys.
Dr. Wise is in there.
I'm not going to get involved in what Netanyahu did or does inside Israel. Thank God. We have freedom of expression in Western countries, and in Israel itself, those who are pro-war or against this war, they can talk freely in Israel. I'm from Iran. 17 years I've lived in the United States in exile. For me, the question isn't that how long it takes that Iran would be capable of having a bomb. What we have to focus on and have a proof for is, are they after bomb or not? Look, whatever you like it or not like it, this government in Israel or the government before or government after, none of them write that on their missiles that we are going to destroy this country or that country. And it's in the purpose of defense. But if you look at what founder of Islamic Republic, Khomeini, said, long before we had this problem, he was referring to Saudi Arabia 1400 years ago, that what happened to a Jewish tribe in Saudi Arabia when Muslims attacked it. They named that castle, name of that ancient castle, on their missiles, Khaybar. Most of you may not know the ideological point of Islamic Republic better than I do. Finding moral ground for me as in Iran is really hard, because if you don't have freedom in Iran, basically you don't have homeland. And when my American friends and colleagues ask about my feeling, I live a really hard complexity because at the end of the day, those who live in Iran, they're human beings. And I'm really sad. But on the other hand, this regime created 2 wars, if not 3. One of them was against the people from the get-go. From 1979 to this day, women's rights, journalists, freedom of expression, freedom of having political parties, all of them torturing, killing political prisoners, and even going after opposition leaders in Western countries by which in many cases you would be surprised that countries like Germany and France did nothing about it when Iran's regime was killing leader of opposition in Western countries. They did nothing, basically. They're doing their own business. Second war, first war was against people from the get-go, which continues. Second war was a war with Iraq, because Khomeini was thinking Iraq has 60% population of Shiites, and many of these imams' grave or whatever is their land, and they started creating covert operations.
I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds, okay? I just want
Okay. 1 minute, please. And they started a covert operation inside Iraq, which Saddam Hussein had no option just attacking Iran. This is not what I say. The ambassador of Iran in Iraq said it in his writing. It's a fact that Iran attacked Iraq way before, and they created 8 years war, which I lost many friends. And third war is this new war that we're going to wipe down Israel. My question is not Iran next week or 2 weeks after is going to have bomb. The question basically is, are they after bomb or not?
Can I respond?
Yeah, I think it's my turn next.
Yeah, we're gonna let Dean go.
I didn't know there was a.
Yeah.
No, I'll put you.
Yeah, so the answer to your question, Bahram, is quite simple. And Eagle posted a link in the chat from Fox News from today. I believe today is June 20th, right? For many people. The title says, UN nuclear chief says Iran has material to build bombs, but no plan to do so. There's no plan to do so. There's material. Material can be used for energy, which many countries out the world use uranium for nuclear energy, essentially nuclear substances for energy, but it has no plan to do so. All right, we have confirmed that Iran
does have... No, that's a technical question. I'm asking about
Bahram, stop.
Bahram, the whole premise for this illegal attack by Israel was nuclear weapons, right? And our national intelligence here in America said Iran has nuclear weapons. The International Atomic Energy Agency said they have no plan to do so. And so they have no evidence that there's nuclear weapons. According to the U.S., the leading authority on the matter in the world, the IAEA. All right, so that's something I just want to correct. I don't know how much I have to go, but there's no evidence of it. We're being drawn in, just like Iraq.
But that wasn't my question.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, I gotta go. We're drawn into war. Hold on, just 1 sec. Please. Iraq, remember, Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction. It was all a lie, fabricated, and we fought a war, and tens of thousands of American lives have been lost. Many of them survived without limbs, can't walk, or amputees, have traumatic brain injuries.
Okay, enough, enough. You're off topic.
No, hold on.
You're off topic.
Stop that, normal. Stop. No.
Yeah, I'm just providing facts. These are facts.
Off topic.
These are facts. No, this is very on topic. Just have some patience. Everybody should fact check Norm whenever he says something.
You're
the
off
IEA,
topic,
we just proved it. No, listen to what I have to say. It's very relevant, and everybody will understand when I finish my sentence. Is that thanks for moving them down? Oh, it's very relevant because Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction, so we cost billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, U.S. dollars, over years to fight a war on behalf of Israel because Netanyahu was pushing with all his might, with all his heart to fight Iraq, but there was no weapons of mass destruction. It was all a lie. Colin Powell had regretted it. And he's the one who was pushing on behalf of the U.S. For the UN. And this is the same thing. It's not off topic. We're being drawn into war for Israel based on lies. Israel's this propaganda, their lies. They don't have nuclear weapons. That's official position of the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, the U.S. official position, the IAEA, and we don't want our taxpayers going for a genocidal, terroristic state to fight their war that Netanyahu has been pushing for decades for no proof.
Okay. I just want to say very quickly.
Guys.
I just want to respond quickly. He has lied to everyone.
Norm.
Wait, can I speak?
No.
There's a cue. Why not? He spoke right over the actual version.
No, but Norm, why can't you just respect the order?
I'm waiting to speak as well.
Maybe the next person who's gonna speak me is gonna say something that your Zionist ass likes. Just chill, right? Okay. So I understand the sentiment, and this is a problem with lying to citizens. The problem with lying to citizens is that when you start telling them the truth, they can't distinguish between the truth and the lie. Let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard and her saying that there aren't any nukes right now in Iran. She's right. But that doesn't mean what you think it means. Right now, they're at 60% enrichment. To be able to make a nuclear weapon, the only reason why you'd even be at 60% is if you're trying to get to 90%. And the only way to have enough fissile material to get to 90% is by being at 60%. So you guys can try to convince me that Iran, the oil energy exporter, cares about green energy, and that's the reason why they continue to enrich uranium past the point of needing it for energy uses. If I was Iran, I'd be trying to get nuclear weapons too. I don't think the Iranian regime is stupid. Having a nuclear weapon means that America can't bully you anymore. It means that Israel can't bully you anymore. So of course they're trying to go for nuclear weapons. All right, that's what they're trying to do. All right, and the United States isn't going to let that happen for free. And the only reason why I'm against intervention at this point, and I'm for diplomacy, is because even if we stop the Iranians right now, we're going to try to build it again. Are we going to try to stop them every single time? And then it looks like Russia and China, well, right now it's Russia that's open with it. Russia is, kind of giving them security assurances in some way, so it doesn't look like this is going to be an easy road. It looks like if we agitate the situation even more, it's going to lead to World War III. The only reason why I'm not against the conflict is just because whether we stop it today, we can't stop it tomorrow. The Iranians are going to acquire.
I agree, and I do think
it just is what it is. So instead of inflaming a situation to make further diplomatic resolutions even more impossible, I think we should take the time right now and be like, okay, fuck, we can't stop it anyway. We can't stop it. They're trying to get the nuclear weapons. Both sides are telling the truth. They don't have the nuclear weapons right now. And let me give you guys a timeline when it comes to getting to 90% enrichment.
Let's make it brief so other people can get in, man.
Yeah, bet. To get to 90% enrichment, it takes less than a month. And to gain the fissile material takes less than a few months, and then to get the warhead in the delivery system, which is a missile. So the estimates are in about a year or under a year, they can have a nuclear weapon. And those are the mainstream estimates. They don't have it right now, but they can easily get it. Even if we try to stop them today, they can build it in the future.
So it's not an issue if they build it in the future until or unless we have a counter for that particular uranium bomb or missiles. So USA want to stop it until or unless they don't have a counter. Ultimately, they are going to build that. And the other thing, a lot of people are forgetting how important is Israel for USA geographically. It is situated at the crossroad of Europe, Asia, and Africa, near the Suez Canal and Strait of Hormuz. Okay, Israel provides the military and surveillance access to all of countries that are surrounding Israel, and most importantly, Mossad. It is the top secret agency in the world right now.
All right, Normal. I know you wanted to go, but here's before you go, Normal. Yo, you gotta chill and respect people talking, man. Just like you're gonna get the same respect.
Yo, am I gonna get in there one of these days, yo?
Thank you, Sig. So I appreciate it. Thanks for
No. We said doctor.
Thank you, Sig.
Oh, we said doctor. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, Keegan said doctor. We're gonna respect Keegan's room. He said doctor, and then Normal. But Normal, understand.
Gotcha.
You get dropped down so many times, then we lose invites to bring you back. So you just gotta chill, man. Okay, thank you, doctor. You go, and then Norm's next.
Yeah, I agree about the military-industrial complex wars. I don't like them. I really don't, man. I was pretty young when we went to Iraq. Afghanistan ended up being bullshit. It was probably our government who knocked those buildings down. We have the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which is where we said that a Vietnamese ship attacked our ship. And so that was a pretext to get into the Vietnam War. There's many reasons why. There's why we're getting involved in these wars. I think the Ukraine thing is the same thing, but I think there's a different situation here where Israel is such a small country that they can't possibly sustain a nuclear bomb. We said with this stupid nuclear Iran deal, the international community, there was a way to stop, the Iranians from getting a nuclear bomb. And I guess we just weren't going to follow that. Israel's doing the dirty work. I'm glad that they are. And, what would you guys do if you had somebody that was going to kill you and your family, and you had a way to stop it? You would stop it. Don't even act like you wouldn't. And this whole thing with JFK being assassinated by the Jews, I don't believe that by Israel, because Israel was going to get a nuclear bomb anyway, to be frank. Like, they just were. Lots of politicians are evangelical Christians or Jewish. And, and most Christians believe that we have a duty to protect Israel. If you're not with them, you're against them. And that's just the way it is. So they were going to get a nuclear bomb regardless, we had a couple of CIA agents and FBI agents that helped Israel get it, but that was going to happen regardless of some presidents. I think it honestly had to do with JFK's failure to, put 300,000 soldiers in Vietnam. There was just a limited special forces incursion, which we had 20,000 special forces advisors. They obviously wanted more in the military-industrial complex and LBJ. And then the final straw was the Bay of Pigs invasion, when JFK called off these two airstrikes, when the military-industrial complex, the military leadership had it all set in motion, when we were going to overthrow the Cuban government. When that failed, when he called that off, that was finally it. We killed him for it. And it makes sense because Donald Trump doesn't want to be involved in Ukraine, and they've tried to kill him twice. I don't know, man. I just think I can explain that. But with this whole thing with Israel, I think it's a different thing. Israel has not said that they're going to, wipe out other countries and shit. But what country has been North Korea. Unfortunately, that's just too big of a problem to deal with. And the humanitarian issue would be horrible. And then we got Iran. In Iran, we can stop these people. We can stop them from getting this bomb, and I'm afraid of them maybe not attacking Israel, even though I think they will, but giving this nuclear weapon to many of their proxies. Are we going to allow that to happen? Are we just going to say we should have done something when we could have, but we didn't? I just don't want to be wrong about this one. Yes, we have been wrong in the past, folks, but do we want to be wrong to where we are getting held hostage by nuclear weapons, by Iran or by its proxies, some nuclear... Imagine ISIS if they get a fucking dirty bomb, a tactical bomb, you name it, man. That's going to be horrible for the world. And if we don't stop it now, what the fuck? So I'm with Israel, and I always will be. And it's a different thing. So, and I think most evangelical Christians feel the same way. Deep down, they're with Israel, you know, and that's the right thing to do, no matter what you think. So, that's all.
No, Normal, you got it, bro.
Thank you, Shay. So these are the countries that have nuclear weapons: Russia, U.S., China, France, UK, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. Of these, two are our putative enemies, Russia and China, although we also do business with China. I would say China's not really an enemy. Pakistan is on the fence since they harbor terrorists, and they've done a lot of terrorism around the world. North Korea, obviously, not an ally. The rest are our allies. So we want our allies to be able to defend themselves and us, and we do not want our enemies to have nuclear weapons. Iran is an enemy. By the way, on June 9th, the International Atomic Energy Commission found that Iran was in breach of the regulations governing nuclear weapons, that it had enriched its uranium from 60 to 70%. There is no legitimate reason to enrich uranium to 60 or 70% except for a weapon. Let that sink in. No reason except for a weapon. So to contend that they are not developing a nuclear weapon is a lie. And you've had Dean on this stage before, A, speak over a man actually from Iran, and B, lie to you and pretend that enriching uranium to 60 or 70% can be used for anything other than a nuclear weapon. The world agrees, your president agrees, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So unfortunately, an Islamic fundamentalist named Dean came on this stage and tried to lie to you and distract you with talk about traumatic brain injury from a war that was as if that has anything to do with the current threat that Iran poses to the world. You should know, by the way, there was a terrorist attack by Iran today in UK, in London. Iran has attacked U.S. interests numerous times and even taken our people hostage. It was Israel that neutralized the terrorist Nasrallah, responsible for the 1983 Marine barracks bombing, by the way. You're welcome. Thank you, Israel. There's a reason why we're attacking Iran. It's because its air defenses are down, and this is an opportune time. And to prevent them from developing nuclear weapons, and to prevent them from using their ballistic missiles to sow terror around the world. Iran is the world's most terroristic state, and as BB said, we don't want them to have the world's most dangerous weapon. I'll land it there.
Yeah, you know, and again, this is where I'm going to just fundamentally disagree with Norm, right? It says that the world agrees. Now, the world may agree that Iran shouldn't get a nuclear weapon. Do you know what the world agrees with? That they're not making a nuclear weapon. Right? That's the key issue here. Are we allowed to preemptively strike nations just because we don't, number one, we don't like the regime, and number two, we don't want them to develop any type of military, right? Because that's really what it is, right? You know, sure, it may be a case of, oh, we don't want them to develop a nuclear bomb, but again, we don't know that they're developed. All we know is that they have the nuclear capability, but we know that, well, as of right now, based off of intelligence, based off of the U.S. intelligence and the world's intelligence, that they are not developing a nuclear bomb right now. So what you're just doing is you're saying, hey,
what, bro? What the fuck? That's bullshit.
Keegan, can we talk?
Stop. I didn't interrupt anyone.
May I speak to you, Keegan?
Not right now. Not my mid-sentence. I do want to get Cairo in here because I told him he could. So, just final points here. Number one, I disagree fundamentally with Doctor saying that evangelical Christians should support Israel based off of religion. I do not believe that. Israel is not a place, but rather a people. This is very, very clear. And that
the Israel that was developed in 1948 is not the Israel that is of the Bible. And then again, number two is that just because a nation dropping a nuclear bomb does not give America the right to preempt, or Israel, I say America because it is. Israel and America are the exact same thing. They are the same. But we do not get the right to preemptively strike Iran just because they say death to America. North Korea says death to America. China has said death to American imperialism. They both say that. We don't affect them. Then again, we are just being hypocritical, and we don't like Muslims. At the end of the day, we have tried regime change wars after regime change wars in the Middle East. Syria is now controlled by ISIS, thanks to us. Afghanistan and Iraq are now controlled by terrorist groups because of us. So thank you, America, as we've been the worst world police, and we're already terrible police of our own nation. But let's just keep doing it. So that's my final point. But I'm going to let Cairo go, and then we'll open it back.
Could I address you for a second?
No, stop.
Second, you had your turn. Come on, people were respectful.
I just want to ask you a follow-up.
No, I've said, Cairo's going to go.
Come on, guys. We listen to you guys lie and spread propaganda. At least let me talk.
Name the lie.
I'm about to. So as people try to rewrite history and try to make lies, we know for a fact, because Tulsi Gabbard just said it in March, Israel A, doesn't have nukes, and B, they weren't trying to build nukes. So they don't have it, and they weren't trying to build it. You forgot to add that part. And so now let's go to the nuclear deal. We had a nuclear deal with Iran, and Trump ripped it up, correct? Okay, so Trump rips up the nuclear deal, and then because he didn't want it. So that being said, and then Biden, when he was running in 2019, 2020, he said, I'm going to bring the nuclear deal back with Iran. So what did Iran do? Iran waited. Biden didn't end up doing it. They waited. They still did it. They had a chance. The deal was ripped up then. They didn't do no enrichment. Why? Because they wanted to go back into the deal. That's what Iran wanted, is the reality. I know people don't like it. And I don't understand how us as Americans, we cannot be idiots and let these people lie to us with the same script they did with Iraq. Do you guys remember how Iraq was tied to 9/11? Well, if you don't, I'll help you guys. Israel came and said, we witnessed a secret meeting between Mohammed Atta and Iraqi soldiers, and Iraqi soldiers gave Mohammed Atta anthrax, which led to the anthrax attack that also happened during 9/11, which was exposed as a lie. So these people, these are the same people. We know they lied then. They made it up, and now they're doing it again, and they think we're stupid. We understand what's really going on. America isn't a threat to Iran. No, Iran is not a threat to America. They're not doing anything to us. They didn't bomb us. In fact, America has been attacked by a Middle Eastern country. It's called Israel. We know this. USS Liberty. We know this. They attacked us. Iran didn't attack us. If you hate Muslims, just say, hey, we want to go, and we're going to go waste more trillions to go bomb some more Muslims. I would accept that more. I would respect you as a man, other than being a liar.
Yeah. So what was the lie?
Can I talk?
I'm waiting for the lie. By the way, 44
we'll
said that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. What was the lie? I was waiting.
One second.
Just wanted to say a couple things about Iran attacking United States.
The mass destruction.
Say this again.
Do you know what our intelligence agency said? They said there was a secret office in the Pentagon where they were ignoring our intel and taking intel from the secret office that was making up lies, saying Iraq has where was it from? Some African country. They have uranium. They're getting uranium from
yellow cake
country. Yellow cake uranium.
Yeah,
we don't want to be a Muslim.
There were 44 intelligence agencies around the world.
They hit us with the same line.
There were 44 intelligence agencies besides Israel.
Don't see a mushroom cloud. And now
there were 44 intelligence agencies besides Israel.
Was it a lie?
Says Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. I believe it was a mistake, not a lie, sir.
No, it was a lie.
I believe it was a mistake.
That's the shit, though. How many fucking times? How many? No,
Intelligence agency.
I wanted to bring up a couple things.
Well, hold on. Let Blake speak. Blake.
He said Iran never attacked United States, which is totally wrong. From the get-go, this regime started with hostage taking.
Israelis and Zionists.
Well, no, he is correct. Hold on.
Hostage taking. Right from the get-go, hostage taking.
That's true.
Attacking a U.S. Marine base in Lebanon. Siding with Al-Qaeda. Many leaders of Al-Qaeda now live in Iran. Siding with Taliban in Afghanistan war. Destabilizing Iraq after U.S. tried so hard to do nation building. Listen. Iran from the get-go attacking the United States. They are ideological regime. They have nothing to do with Muslim or non-Muslim. First of all. Second of all, we have, listen, we have lots of Jewish people who lived in Iran, Christians lived in Iran. Iran is not a Muslim country. This has nothing to do with fucking Islam, okay? You have an ideological system.
Don't say you brought up Jews being attacked in Saudi Arabia.
Listen, it has nothing to do with Islam. Don't collude it with
Why
Islam.
do you guys need our money?
Passenger planes from Iran with money of, listen,
leave our money
passenger planes, they took the seats of passenger planes. They sent 120,000 rockets to Lebanon.
Hold on, Cairo, he's not Israeli, obviously.
100, I'm Iranian. Okay? They took seats of passenger plane, and for a decade, they sent 120,000 rockets to Lebanon.
He's Iranian,
They're sending rockets to
Christian,
Houthis.
a 12
They're
or what?
sending rockets to Houthis. 60% of Iranian people live in full poverty. And you fucking idiots still supporting the regime and equalizing it with Iran. Iran is Iranian people.
So what? 100% of Gaza are living in poverty because of Israel.
Resistance, we have a queue.
Islamic Republic from the get-go said United States is biggest evil in the world. And that hasn't been changed until this day. This is what they say, what they said, and what they did, actually. They're not saying. That's why I'm focusing on. Talk about this ideology is after bomb or not. If we be clear about that, then we can talk about timeline, how many days it will take. And some people forget that. Mossad, during the last head of Mossad, made lots of covert operation and caused lots of delay. Mossad is working on that program for the last 20 years. Erdogan always said that head of Mossad also supported Obama and sided with Obama, but he never said that Iran is not after bomb. Islamic Republic of Iran was after bomb, is after bomb, and they do whatever to make bomb. That's the fact.
I appreciate it. I saw Blake wanted to go. Blake, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try to make it quick. I was just appalled by it was a mistake comment. It's like, how many fucking times are we going to spend trillions of dollars on governments in budgets to do a job that they can't fucking do? Like, seriously, mistake after fucking mistake. You thought COVID was this, but it was that. Yeah, you thought 9/11 was this. You thought it was fucking WMDs. You can't find out who actually fucking put a van in the bottom of the World Trade Centers back in the early 90s. Like, dude, you train the fucking Taliban and then you turn around and fucking, support Syria's government. Like, come on, man. How many fucking mistakes are you going to let these spooks keep getting away with? And yet you still don't even know who actually off JFK. Like, bro, wake up. This Judeo-Christian value shit, like, this shit is over with, bro. This is America. We don't give a fuck about Iran. We don't give a fuck about China. We don't give a fuck about Jews, like the Jewish government. Like it is what it is, dude. You want to come to America, you come here legally, you do what you got to do, We fucking support our military to defend our borders. But all this like spook operation shit, bro, we're tired of it. All that Lindsey Graham like fucking shit. Like, come on, man. Like, get off Fox News, bro. Stop watching Fox and CNN, bro.
Amen, brother. Amen. See, I don't look at I look at Israel like I'm a Zionist. I support Israel existing and defending themselves. And I know there's some of the Muslims here might be like, oh, well, you're a shitty person. Well, fuck you people too. I mean, you guys aren't exactly the best characters. I mean, I'm just saying. If I had to live around you guys, I'd probably want to do a lot worse than what Israel's doing, just to be fair. But with that being said, Israel they are a thorn in the ass of the United States. I mean, they're just constantly begging for more, the billions and billions of fucking dollars every fucking year. How many billions have you given this year? And, and when it comes to them being involved in just like the lobbying, I mean, look at that cuck Senator Ted Cruz. Like, what a disgusting faggot. He was like basically sucking Israel's dick. He was using biblical justification, which doesn't even fucking exist. It's in the Bible or Christian. We don't believe that. Well, maybe there's evangelicals that do, but we don't look at Israel as even a group of people. We look at it as the church. It's not a land, and it sure as fuck isn't a modern government. But they're not our 51st state. They're not our closest ally.
I just don't agree with that because Jesus is supposed to rule in Jerusalem.
Well, I'm a Catholic. You're evangelical, though. Like, we have a fundamental.
Yeah, I know, but why do they keep saying, though, that Israel is just an idea when he's literally supposed to go through these gates in Jerusalem and rule in Jerusalem?
Well,
I don't understand why they don't get that.
Yeah, that's not.
Lie.
Yeah, that's not how we look at it. So basically, the new covenant after the destruction of the second temple and the crucifixion of Jesus, the new covenant is with the people that are baptized and are basically Christian, and it's so. New covenant is with us. We're now the ones that are chosen with God to have this covenant.
Where's Jesus supposed to rule, though?
Who?
Jerusalem.
I don't.
Why do you keep saying we? The Bible says that.
Okay, yeah, the Catholics do not believe that the Jews have to be in Israel. Like, we don't believe the Jews have to be in Israel, and then they have to be fighting wars all over the fucking world, and then we're gonna have, the return, or Jesus will return. That's not something. I've only heard this from evangelicals.
No, bro. Like, that's crazy. Jesus is supposed to come back. He's supposed to go through these gates in Jerusalem. And that's where he's supposed to rule. Like, it's important, man. That's the place where we're supposed to protect. That you guys can hate that, but that's just what the Bible says.
Yeah, but doctor.
So I mean, for you guys to deny that is just that's your own interpretation that's wrong.
Yeah, but doctor,
and it's almost like,
Dude, dispensationalism is that something that we just don't have.
Well, your interpretation would be also wrong because those are not even the Jews that they're talking about in the scripture.
Doctor, so what you just said, you understand there's a lot of Jews and a lot of rabbis who actually disagree with
yeah, they don't believe in Jesus in general. I mean, I understand.
No, that's not.
They believe in him, but they don't believe that he is
Doctor. That's not what the fuck I was going to say. Just chill, relax. What I'm saying is you have a lot of rabbis, you have a lot of Jews who say, hey, Israel shouldn't be a nation yet because it says that they're not supposed to go back and take that land until Jesus returns. So you got a lot of Jews that say, hey, Israel isn't right. Well, Jesus. Whatever. But they're even protesting saying, hey, Israel's 100% in the wrong because they're not supposed to occupy that until the Messiah comes back.
Okay, well, they're interpreting it wrong, I think, too.
Or maybe you're interpreting it wrong and your people.
I mean, I'm not questioning. Look, I don't even want to make this about religion, but just realize I do understand that there are the Christians that, because of their beliefs, they really strongly support Israel. That's fine. I mean, I support them too. I think they should exist and be able to defend themselves. But I do think that they're just way too involved in our foreign policy. They've definitely encouraged us to make a lot of very stupid decisions. Like when it came to, hold on, they made a lot of very stupid recommendations to try to get us entangled in foreign wars that were absolutely not only cost us a fucking fortune, but it had deleterious effects. We can look at, I mean, fuck. I don't think ISIS would have ever been a thing if we never fucking went to Iraq. I don't think we would have had, of course, then the Syrian refugee crisis. I don't even know if Libya would have, Gaddafi would have been toppled. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like most of us, the fact that they're put front and center, like politically here in the United States, is kind of like disgusting in a way. They're not our greatest allies. They have next to nothing to. They have no shared history with us. They're a new country. We have much older allies that have fought and died in the same fucking wars along the United. Hold on. That have fought along with the men in the United States in foreign wars, and just culturally, we have way more in fucking common with Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and Canada. Yeah, but then why are these fucking people need to get out of our politics?
Let me answer this for you here. Maybe you can chew on this. Maybe you can finally get your answer. Wait. I'm trying to answer this really quickly. Pepe, okay? This is just the truth, and I know you don't like it. This is just the fucking truth. Our politicians, most of them are religious. They're Christian. So wouldn't it make sense that most of these people who are in the place of power, in the position of power, would make these decisions that maybe you, who doesn't feel that strongly about it, wouldn't do? What I'm saying is, dude, that's why we're so fucking, closely aligned with Israel, because our politicians are religious too, and they find it their Christian duty to align themselves with the country that the Bible says.
I'll just come around this. Yes, I'll come around. Sure, I'll come around.
Right?
Hold on.
No, we don't.
It does have something to do with the evangelicals.
I'm not talking to you, Resistance. I'm talking
to the room. All right, I'm not talking to you. Y'all dominate the room. No one
else. Resistance.
I'm literally having a question. Just like a couple of fucking things with Pepe. All right? Why do you have to unmute yourself when I'm trying to talk to the moderator about something? You can just wait for a second, brother. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Pepe.
Well, I would say when it comes to evangelical Christians, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's, and I don't want, I usually try not to bash, like, I'm not that religious of a person, and so you guys usually don't hear me talking about it, but I do think it's kind of like a death, evangelical Christianity seems kind of death cultish to me, and it does rub me the wrong way, and perhaps it's because of this thing involving Israel that we did not, like growing up Catholic, this was never a thing for us. And yes, when I have people like Ted Cruz who, it's hard to, I think he's a grifter personally. I doubt it's because he's a Christian, sitting here and cucking for Israel. Yeah, I think it's fucking gross. If you have a religious belief that's going to make it so that you are you're going to give Israel like a bunch of leeway to just do whatever the fuck they want and to have that much influence over the United States, then yeah, I have a real problem with it. And they're you can't blame Israel. They're taking advantage of it. And I just wanted to stop.
You're just not being a religious man. You don't, as religious, you just have maybe the inability to see why it's happening, and it's pretty clear to me. A lot of these Christians, a lot of these people like Ted Cruz, a lot of these people feel a Christian duty. Like me, if I was in that position, you're damn right, man, I would be protecting Israel if I had the ability to. Because it's my religion, man, and you know what religion is. I know you maybe don't like it, but it's like a part of me, bro. It's that important. So that maybe can answer your question a little bit of why we're so heavily involved with Israel, because it's literally a lot of these people's duty, they feel like, man. Agree or not agree, but that's just probably why it's happening.
Go ahead, Total bullshit.
Real quick. Doctor, I'm an evangelical as well, and we get a lot of slack for being these like ultra pro Zionists. and I messaged you personally, and I want you to go watch from another evangelical historian, pastor historian. But just so you know, and I don't want to be like, I'm going to throw up scripture, but like, I don't like being the guy on there because this is not this room is about America first. It's not about, evangelicals. But if we're going to play the God game, Romans 9:6 very, very clearly states, for they are not all Israel who are Israel, nor are they children because they are the seed of Abraham. But in Isaac your seed shall be called, that is, those who are the children of flesh. These are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted as seed. Right? Paul has clearly stated throughout Romans, through Galatians as well. You can read Galatians as well. Galatians 3 will also tell you that there's neither Jew nor Greek now, nor slave nor free, that you're circumcised through the heart, not by flesh. Israel is not a place. It is a people group. Israel is the people that struggle with God. And this is the evangelical stance. I don't know. I believe that since probably the 1940s, the evangelicals have been taken down this path of Zionism, but Israel does not treat Christians well. They just don't. I know that Muslims don't treat us well either. I don't make that very clear. But Israel does not treat Christians well. The only people who treat Christians well are Christians. And we just have to acknowledge that. So, but let's move on. This is an American First room. I'm going to get some new speakers. But Sig, you go ahead first.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick, and that is so true. Netanyahu just stopped legislation. Legislation was drafted up by an Israeli official to prevent Christians from proselytizing in Israel. And Netanyahu just shut it down. So, I mean, that's what I don't understand with the Christians, a lot of Christians being in support of Israel. Like, I mean, I've seen videos, and again, this is just my anecdotal, just what I've seen on the internet. So you can criticize me all you want, and that's fair. But I've seen so many videos of Jews spitting on Christians, physically attacking them, assaulting them. So it's just kind of weird to me, like, why a lot of Christians have this blind loyalty and allegiance to Israel when they don't.
You know what's funny is that a lot of Israelis will say like, "Oh, that doesn't really happen. That's just anecdotal." But then they actually had an undercover Israeli team like go there dressed up as like, I don't know, openly as Christians walking around in Jerusalem, and they got spat at no less than 5 times in the hour that they were doing it. The shit was so.
Bro.
Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, bro. Like. The answer to Steve's question is, bro.
Yo, guys, breaking news. I guess they're detecting an earthquake in Iran 15 minutes ago, by the way.
Doctor, you're interrupting Blake. He's trying to.
All right, I'm just saying, breaking news. They detected an earthquake in Iran 15 minutes ago.
It doesn't give you a right to disrespect someone who's fucking talking, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Blake, you got.
No, it's all good, man. I'm just saying, like, the answer to Steve's question is, like, it's not that evangelicals in America, truly know what they're believing. Dude, we've been convinced that's our Judeo-Christian values. That's what I've been fucking told the moment I came into conservatism back in early 2000s, right after fucking 9/11, bro. We were preached this Judeo-Christian values, bro. And I'm like, dude, we don't even coincide. Bro, their whole shit is disrespectful to Jesus. Like, go read what they said about Jesus, bro. Just go read the sick shit they said about him, man. It's like, even if you didn't believe that Jesus was the prophet, like, if y'all that, if we such an ally, like, why would you even, like, have that kind of, written religious text in your religious text? Read the,
well, to be fair,
it's not the Torah, but it's the secret
Talmud.
The secret book.
It was to be fair, that was in the Talmud, and all the Talmud is a bunch of rabbis giving opinions and like arguing about like rabbinical law, and it was like one of the there was a rabbi at one point who said that's what he thought of Jesus. It's not something to be interpreted religiously by them, and like there's. Basically, you have rabbis who like disagree with each other. So like the Talmud is like literally like a bookcase worth of books. Like it's a lot of volumes, and it's just a bunch of fucking rabbis arguing about rabbinical law. So I wouldn't take that as like a personal insult.
I think the Talmud is really gross. Doesn't it say like eating with a Christian is like eating with a dog, or eating with a non-Jew? That's what it is. Eating.
But
with
how
a
long
non-Jew
ago was
is like
it
eating
written?
with a
Well,
dog.
but let's be fair. How long ago was it written? And we can look at the Vatican's justification for mistreating Jews and doing really bad shit to them too. I mean, and a lot of this goes it goes it's like centuries and centuries and centuries ago. If there's a rabbi in here, somebody knows, they can say when this shit was written. As I don't know, but I don't. It's them debating rabbinical law. Like, it's not part of their religious text. So like, I don't think it's even worth just.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to get too caught up in it, but I mean, the point I was trying to get to is like that's some of the reason why people like, you know, you got smart people like Sig who get pushed away from even exploring you know, religion in his own personal life because he looks at all this, you know, political and geopolitics that get wrapped up in religion. He's just like, it's a crock of shit. You know what I mean? You got all these evangelical politicians like Ted Cruz, and it's like, bro, he don't give a rat's ass about the Christian community. Look at how he behaved during COVID, bro. Like, these people just show up on Fox News, do the same thing they've been doing for freaking 40 years, hanging out with the spooks. You know what I'm saying? And people end up dead. People end up disappeared. Stories get, you know, thrown, you know, away from, like look at what's happening in Minnesota right now. Are any of you guys talking or getting any information about two fucking politicians that got offed in the middle of the night? And they're under.
Because they're trying to get us talking about it.
The guy got caught, right? He already got caught.
The media is trying to get us to talk about it, bro.
He got caught. He got caught, but all of the circumstances said within 40 hours that he was on the run. Bro, 1995 police tactics would have captured this guy. You don't get out and you don't get into a whole shootout with the police and then get to go complete your mission.
He was a person who owned a PWC. And me, myself, I thought that they were never going to catch him just because of his history. But they caught him in less than a week. They got the guy. So what you're saying isn't... I understand the sentiment of what you're saying, but can we see past our face just for a little bit, bro? Like, this isn't about... And by the way, if you're like doing this Christian Zionism thing, then when the jihadis do their fucking Allah Akbar shit, then you can't fucking complain. If you're going to support Israel out of Christian Zionism, when you get Allah Akbar, don't fucking complain. See, I'm not supporting Zionism because of any religious reasons. I don't think I'm supporting it at all. But Israel is America's cousin. It's America's little project. And my thing is, it seems like the Iranians are trying to get nuclear weapons. They are. They are trying to get nuclear weapons. And I don't know if going to war is going to be the best way to solve it, because what's going to end up happening is we're going to spend trillions of dollars, and then they're going to get the nukes anyway. The only way that I see it makes sense to go to war at this time is if we can stop their nuclear proliferation forever. And since I don't think we're going to be able to do it, I think we need to try to sue for some type of diplomacy and some type of agreement that Obama had in the past. So, like I think that was a mistake that Trump made, ripping up that agreement, you know, because I don't think we have the military leverage to keep under our foot for the rest of the time.
But G, when you say
let's look at the timeline here.
But G, when you say
timeline.
G, when you
this
say
has been something building up for over the last 10 years. If you haven't been paying attention,
it's been longer than that, man. They got caught in 2003. They had to.
So, like I was saying, G, when you yeah, you know what?
Go ahead and move me then, faggot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna move you. Yeah,
go ahead.
Because you just lack decorum and fucking respect, bro. Fucking retarded Tourette's motherfucker. But G, what you were saying earlier is don't be mad if you get Allah Akbar. But I mean, this is the narrative that's been pushed, and you know, just this is from my perspective, and we had this conversation when we were in the Middle East in the military. That's where a lot of our views change, is dealing with the locals and the nationals there.
We didn't run into any of that Allah Akbar hostility, and that's what a lot of our discussion revolved around, because the narrative we were pushed is when you go to the Middle East, they hate Americans, they hate you. It is that Allah Akbar, blow America up, death to America. But we went over there and dealt with those people. We didn't have any of that hostility or resistance, and we're kind of like, well, wait a minute, like what we're actually experiencing is different from the narrative that was pushed. So, you know, I don't know, man. When I heard you say that, man, it just kind of brought.
You have to look at the totality, and I understand why you have the response, but you have to look at the totality of what I'm saying. I'm coming at this from a pragmatic point of view, because as you can even see haven't we learned by now that messaging from leaders is completely different than public sentiment, and that's the same for every single country on the face of the planet? So we even see Iranians trying to overthrow their own regime. This isn't about good or bad. This is about political interest, and this is a very serious situation. When people hear World War III, they're thinking of an apocalyptic scenario. When people hear World War III, they're thinking of trenches. They don't understand that warfare's changed. World War III can start, and it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. It's going to look like something very different, because nuclear weapons exist, and we can't have the same type of total war that we've had in the past. So this is a type of shit where your grandchildren are going to ask you about this, if you have grandchildren, given the declining birth rates. But this is a time in history. Do not be fooled by propaganda. But the Iranians, they are building nuclear weapons, and I don't blame them, and America won't stand for it. Let's see what happens.
But what interest does America, does the DNI have on saying that they're not building a nuclear weapon? Like, why are we lying? Why is the international community lying, saying that they're not building? What's the end goal, I guess? If everyone thinks they're building a nuclear weapon, why are we lying?
Wait, who's lying?
Both Tulsi Gabbard and the international community have both stated that they're not building a nuclear weapon.
Well, the only person that I've heard say they're not building a nuclear weapon is Tulsi Gabbard a few weeks ago. But the international community came out. The globalist international community said, hey, stop your nuclear proliferation. Stop it. I don't think anyone else is denying the fact that they're building the weapons. I don't think that this is a false flag scenario. And by the way, if you remember when October 7th first happened, the mainstream media was saying there's no evidence that Iran was behind the attacks or Iran helped plan the attacks. Now they're letting you know that Iran was definitely behind the attacks, and without the Iranian backing, October 7th would have never happened. From what I see, and I look at the mainstream media as a tool to manufacture consent in the citizens. And I think that the military-industrial complex wanted to feed itself from the war in Ukraine. They just used the war in Ukraine as almost like a good brunch, a good meal to feed themselves. I don't think they want this war. I don't think they want this war in the Persian Gulf. I think it fucks up with the oil. I think it fucks up with their money. And I think that they know that once they start this, they can't stop it, and they're going to be blamed again for another fucking Middle Eastern campaign that's not going to gain America anything. I don't think they want this war, actually. I think they're trying to do their best to prevent this war and prevent Israel from going apeshit. But if Iran is getting a nuclear weapon, which they've been trying to stop for over 10 years, this is my thing. Let me be quick about this, Inland. Okay, Keegan. My thing is, I don't think they're lying, because look at all the evidence. Obama tried to stop them. He tried to stop them with appeasement. Trump was assassinating nuclear scientists in his first administration, and now we're here. And then you have the October 7th situation, and now you have the Iranians building nuclear facilities under fucking mountains. Like, no, they're not lying about it. They're not lying about it. And all of the circumstantial evidence that I've seen is pointing to they're going to go into this reluctantly, but once it starts, it's not going to end, bro. And it's not going to be fun for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I fundamentally just disagree that America is trying to prevent this. We wanted regime change in Iran for the last 25 years. We wanted a regime change in Syria. What did we get? We got regime change. Now ISIS is over Syria. Thanks. They first started out with the agnostic liberal leader, and now they're one of the most terroristic forms of regimes. We did the same thing in Iraq, Afghanistan, or Yemen. Again, we've never give me a successful time where we've changed the regime of a country for the betterment of that country. We haven't.
But you're saying, okay, so you think because okay, I see why you're confused now.
Real quick, Jai. We've never seen it. We've never seen a regime change that's worked under the U.S. Us getting in and going in and changing it. And what we do see is actually the latter, is that it becomes more extreme. So if you're saying that they're developing a nuclear weapon and that they have all the material for this nuclear weapon, and we need to change the regime, we need to attack them now. Well, first of all, Iran's not going to change. They have an IQ of 110. They'll figure it out again. So you're either just kicking the can down the road and creating a more an extremist group for then in 10 years or 15 years, you can say, well, Iran's so bad, we now need to invade them. Right? Right now, it's just attacking nuclear bases and killing the heads of their military. But then in 10 years, it's, well, now we need to go in and Iran's become so dangerous. So that's my point, is that all we're doing is just creating more extremism. Just like what they're doing with Hamas right now. All you're doing is going to create more extremists. When you kill brothers and sisters who maybe are extremists, do you think that they're going to feel differently? You think they're going to, you know what, you're right. You killing my entire family and bombing my innocent children, I've had a second thought, and I love you guys. Like, no, I mean, what are we doing?
The best case in Keegan, me and you have the same exact view on why diplomatic solutions would be the best long term, because even if we stop them today, it's just going to radicalize them for tomorrow, and we can't keep our foot on Iran's neck for in perpetuity. Now, the reason why I think that I'm starting to understand why you have this disposition and you're not understanding is because when you hear regime change war, you think that the point of changing the regime is for the self-actualization of the country. And I think you got a phone call. But regime change war isn't so that the country can do better. That's just what the leaders tell you so that they can manufacture consent. The purpose of regime change war is to get out the regime that the Americans don't want, and then the country just has to figure themselves fucking out after that. It's literally to shit on their face. That's what regime change war just means. Go in, take out the leaders you don't like, and hopefully the people who are left there remaining figure it out. That's literally what it is. But you think it's not working because you think that regime change war means we're going to change the regime and we're going to make it a better society. No, that's just what your leaders tell you so you feel like a good person when your country invades people. But ultimately, we do agree with the fact that even if we stop them today, we can't stop them tomorrow. And if they get these nuclear weapons tomorrow and we try to stop them today, they're going to look for revenge. And it just is what it is. I don't know. I'm looking at April's comment. I think the best case scenario because even though I think diplomacy would be the best thing for the world and the United States in the long run, that's not what our leaders do. The United States is an empire, and we suffer from the hubris that most empires suffer from in their downfall, which leads to downfall of empires. But the best case scenario, given what the United States will most likely do, which is go to war, because that's probably what we're going to do, is regime change and then implants a new regime that's friendly to the United States. That's the best case scenario. But I don't know if the Russians are going to let us do that easily. But I don't see a situation where we use diplomacy. I hope they're smart, bro. But these are American politicians we're talking about.
Can I make some comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
What I think about it, as an American, I think I agree with many of you guys that there shouldn't be any boots on ground. And the experience of Iraq and Afghanistan taught us that nation building in Middle East, where you have lots of divisions in terms of religious, ethnic background, is, if it's not impossible, it's really, really hard. What I think is like U.S. foreign policy after World War II addicted to the picture that U.S. had from itself when it comes to Japan and Germany. But those nations were different, and I disagree with Keegan that there was no time that regime change didn't have good result. Germany and Japan are really, really great examples of that. But Middle East is a mix of many times you see within a nation you have different ethnicities, different religions, and these son of last shot that the Israelis using him as a propaganda machine, he has no chance to take power because different nations in Iran are in the rise. Kurds, Azerbaijani Turks, which are like 35% of the population are Azerbaijani Turks after 100 years after independence. Kurds, the same thing, Baluchs, 10% Arabs, and you have Shia-Sunni problem within a nation, and let alone even those who think about a central government, opposition groups have really, really divided. I don't see any power if United States is not going to be involved inside Iran the way the way they did in Iraq. No one can stabilize Iran, and it would be a divided nation. That's for sure. That's what I think. And I can talk about how and why for like hours. In Western media, you see this Prince Crown talking in Fox, in medias in UK, like Guardian or whatever. He's acting like a agent of Israel right now, and he has no idea what is he doing. You cannot be a king of a country that is still, even if most of them are not ideological Muslim, they're like traditional Muslims. They're Muslims, and this guy going to Israel and praising Netanyahu for whatever he did or whatever he wants to do, I don't think majority of people will buy that in Iran, even though they have a loud voice out of Iran, and you see them in media, in marches, and whatever. But believe me, guys, they're not majority nowadays. There are lots of voices inside Iran you can't hear because of their oppressed nations. Like I said, Azerbaijani Turks in Northwest, they have 30-35% of the population. Kurds the same thing, Baluch the same thing. Baluch actually are fighting most part in both countries, Pakistan and Iran. Most of them are in Pakistan, and BLA, Baluch Liberation Army, attacking Chinese in Baluchistan, and the militias inside Iran are in fight with central regime in Tehran, and these are the things that probably those idiots after monarchy won't tell you, and they said, okay, we are the best solution and best option, and they propagate themselves. And I think if they push this regime to the knees, and for whatever reason, this regime will collapse, you will have a divided Iran for sure. And that's totally serves the benefit of the United States and Israel. And I think Israel is after that. They mentioned it many times, even Jerusalem Post.
Well, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds.
Published an article, Jerusalem Post, three days ago about that. And if you search for it, there are lots of data about how they think about new Iran and right-wing Israeli politicians. They're planning to divide it.
All right. Well, Bahram, again, I just have a fundamentally different point of view, right? You mentioned that the two regimes that you can name off the top of your head are Japan and Germany, which cost tens of millions of European lives. Tens of millions. It costed. It was shocking how many people had to die to change these regimes. But these regimes were homogenous societies, not based off of religion. Japan, never been a religious country. Germany was slightly a religious country, was much more of an ethnic-centric country, much more of a Germanic country. But so that's the only time we've seen regime change work. We've never seen it work for Islamic countries. Why? Because there's a fundamental belief system there that you cannot change. And
but it would work if you divide it.
But Bahram, the thing is that at the end of the day, America, especially in 2025, this is not 17th century, 18th century world anymore. This is 2025. America has no right to go to a country and go, man, people are oppressed. It's our time to. It's our turn to change a regime. I don't see us going to China's borders and saying millions of Muslims and Christians are persecuted every year under the Chinese. Do we go over to China and say, we need to fix this? No. Do we even call them out on an international stage? No. Because we understand that China has power, right? But we look at countries who are trying to gain power, and we say, no, you're going to be under the heel of America. First of all, I don't believe that we have the right to do that morally. And then number two, I don't think I want to financially support a country that continues to try to do that. So that's my point. And I just think that no one can ever change this opinion. This is America first. In America, I'm not supporting foreign wars anymore. I've seen my family members come back from war. They have never been the same, and I'm done with it. We've seen no change. All we see is more and more terrorist.
Yeah, I think Americans are done with foreign pro. I think Americans are done.
I didn't say America has to do it. The way you talk is like I'm suggesting U.S. has to do this. I didn't suggest that at all. I just described the different scenarios. That's what I did. I never suggested U.S. government has to get involved. I never suggested they have to divide the country. I just explained different scenarios that is possible. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We are lying. We are lying to Israel if we are telling them that they can go against Iran by themselves. We're doing a disservice to Israel. I want Israel to live. I want Jewish people to have their country. But we're doing them a disservice if we say we will not be financially or militarily involved with the war against Iran. Israel will lose that war 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times.
I don't know. Well, one thing that I hope this makes you feel better is that the Israelis are going to go to war with Iran whether or not the United States is there or not. So I don't think we're putting a battery in their back. They just know that if we're there, they're going to be, their chances of winning are just a lot higher. Bruh, letting you know, like most Americans agree with you. They're done. But it doesn't matter what Americans want. Don't you see? It doesn't matter what Americans want.
What do we do?
The American civilian is an idiot. And they don't have any leverage in their country because of the things that we let happen over the past 25 years. So, yeah, the war is going to happen. We're going to cry about it, but it's going to happen. It's too late. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter what we want at this point.
Well, all we want, and I think again that's why we made the room, and I'm not trying to cut you off, G. But the point is, especially me, Pepe, and Sig, I can speak for all three of us. I know how we all three feel. We don't want to be involved. If Israel wants to do this, and you're saying that they will, I'm saying that they, without a doubt, will not go. They will not go the way that they're going to attack Iran, because they're, at the end of the day, I don't believe America is going to listen to the public. Trump's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to support Israel. He could care less about his supporting bases. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen his approval ratings. It's abysmal. It's so bad right now because both conservatives and liberals don't want to support Israel. We're just done. It's not just supporting Israel. It's that we don't want to support a Middle East conflict again. We've seen it over and over again for the last 25 years, and last 30 years, and we're just done. We're done with it. That's America first. It's not isolationist because, again, if this was in the Middle East, it would be just a different situation. Like, if World War II happened again, and that type of situation was going on, I would probably want to be somewhat involved as an American. But this type of conflict, no. You go against I don't expect the UK to come help fund America if we went up against Mexico. I expect us to handle our business.
I think that Americans don't like the empire anymore because the empire used to support the working class. So when the empire used to support the working class, we had no problem with it. Now that they changed the plebeian from a worker to a consumer, and it's kind of changed the dynamics. You're not guaranteed a job. The education system is shit. Everything is expensive. Everyone's gonna own nothing and be happy. That's the reason why Americans aren't really excited about this, because we know that right now we're suffering and we don't give a fuck. Like this like new war, I don't see this war as an extension or a repeat of 2010 or 2015. I don't see it. I see this as something different. I have no idea why the war in Iraq happened or the wars in the Middle East happened. I know it wasn't for a good reason, and I know it wasn't for an existential reason. But for this case, I think that this case is more existential than any other case that we've seen ever since the fall of the Soviet Union.
So, just wanted to add one more point, is that the world ultimately revolves around the power, and the United States sees Iran as a significant threat due to its alliance with Russia and China. So, US, it is natural that they'll oppose the regime that is extreme and where people lack democratic freedom. But they are rigid and very aggressive in their ideology, and that ideology tends to be successful. So Iran in particular follows a path which is religious extremism, and if it is able to acquire the weapon of mass destruction, it could challenge directly the US interest and its security. And this would push America into far more dangerous future than what it is right now. And along with that, India and Israel also share similar concerns. we have seen Pakistan, for example, already possess nuclear weapons, and they have repeatedly acted aggressively towards India by proxy conflicts and terrorism. And this highlights that there is a real risk allowing extremism regimes to gain such power. Thank you.
And with 6 points, we're $36 trillion in debt. Like, we have rapid homelessness, illegal immigration. Still hasn't been solved. 20 million illegal immigrants just in the last 4 years. Right? Undocumented, at least. Maybe not illegal, but most likely illegal.
Undocumented, illegal, same shit.
Yeah, it is the same thing.
Let's be real.
I agree with you. But
did you just ignore the important point that was brought up and just speak over top of it?
Dude, I've been a part of this conversation for like hours. Like, don't get triggered.
No, I'm not triggered. It was a question.
No, I understand the general point he's trying to make.
You just skipped over
confusing it more.
Well,
you just skipped over what the previous talker said. Yo, what's up?
We've been talking for.
Okay, well, if that's just you just ignored the important part that was brought up and spoke over top.
But please, I'll let you speak, but please let me finish though. Which is,
well, you're just ignoring what was brought up before.
Please,
you're trying to not have anyone pay attention to that important.
You can bring up.
Yeah, you can kick me out if you want to, but you just ignore.
Wait, don't kick him out. Don't kick him out.
Why don't you go? I didn't kick him out. I put him in the audience.
Damn it! I want to see what he's gonna say after, but
and he can come up and talk about what he wants to talk about. It's my time right now. I want to talk about what I want to talk about, and what I want to talk about is that we can't afford. America is crumbling. It is crumbling. We are a descending superpower. We're not ascending, we're descending. So why are we focused on international problems when nationally we are descending? Guess who's an ascending superpower?
That's how it goes.
What do you mean that's how it goes?
The thing which is born has to die, no?
I mean, sure, when something is alive it must die. But I want it to be alive.
Yeah, and it will struggle. And it will struggle before it dies. Yeah. So that is a struggle for America right now.
No, I hope India and their 1.4 billion people they have keep crapping in the street. That's what I hope. You know what? India's always been never ascending. They've never ascended. I'll tell you that.
We were almost 25%. We were almost 25% of world's economy. The Britishers came, they looted everything from India. Okay, we have already suffered. It's your time to suffer.
I knew this.
I don't want anybody to suffer, but he is directly commenting on India. I told the reality, the facts. Alright, now he's hoping to suffer India.
Bro, India and US always stands with Israel, finally.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
US and India always,
We will. I don't know about America, but India will stand with Israel because we share philosophies.
It's
not only India.
Hold on. Juan, easy to say that when America has given you guys billions and billions and billions, and that's the thing. If America hadn't given you as much aid as we give you, you would be in the same with your.
But America always stands with Israel, bro. They can't leave Israel.
Yeah, but they have more benefits through it. And they have geographical benefit. It's not that they do not have an interest there.
Bro, and one more thing.
It's more business rather than emotional. We have emotional connection with Israel, to be honest.
Everybody thinks that America is under Israel. Right? Sorry, Israel is under America. America is under Israel.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We agree with you.
To that.
And this is why we don't want to be a part of this. This is why we understand that we are the financial piggy bank. Listen, John.
we are the financial piggy bank for Israel. Without our military, first of all, our as well as our military, we're like the big brother with more money and more strength. And for some reason, the little brother bosses us around. And American people, we're saying we're done. We're tired. We don't want to pay for this. We don't want to back this militarily. If you want to create conflicts and start conflicts, well, guess what? It's your problem now, not mine.
But it actually benefits the private defense companies to earn more money, right?
They don't benefit America.
You get to test your weapons, just like Chinese. Pakistanis were using the Chinese weapons, and India was using our indigenous weapons. And since now India in the Pahalgam, after the Pahalgam attack, India showcase its strength, right? And there is more and more demand for Indian weapons now. So that's how America does. That's why they were in war with the other nations as well, in Afghanistan and Iraq and Syria. No?
What a crazy warmongering point of view you have.
No, it's not warmongering. I'm just telling you what the reality is.
Yeah,
that's how America governs, right?
Well, first of all, that's not.
They have tried to change even India as well. They have tried.
The money that
America has tried.
The money that is improved America by our exports is not just militarily. We are the capital. I mean, Silicon Valley is a real thing. Entertainment is a real thing, right? Our exports are much more militarily, and also because of our relationship with Israel, we are closed off with a lot of the other world. And if we're not closed off, we do it we do the backward deals where we realize that we're funding these terrorist organizations to begin with.
There will always be. Bro, 1 minute. Like, bro, all the Islam or Muslim countries are supporting Iran, man. So there's no problem. Israel is getting support from America, or from India, or from Russia.
Bro, no Muslim country is supporting this Iran.
No, man. Islam, like Palestine was under Iran. Lebanon is under Iran. Syria is under Iran. Iraq is under Iran. They are the most terrorist funder.
Real quick. The Muslims have taken over this room, and I don't really want to kick them out, but I would just rather end the room. Sig, Pepe, I appreciate you guys modding this. This has been a great room, great topic. India, you guys can suck my balls, you dirty country.
Fuck off, bro. The end is.
Oh shit. No, it's not covered. There's no Jewish religion stuff in the whole play, believe it or not.
Well, she basically posted after October 7th on her Instagram channel with a paraglider. So just letting it.
It's so hard. I mean, honestly, somebody told me they wanted to go see Rod Stewart. I just saw Rod Stewart calling Israel doing a genocide. I don't want to go. I didn't want to ruin their good time. But, we'll see. I mean, he had a concert announced with Billy Joel, and Billy Joel got sick. So, there you have it. It has to be rescheduled.
Billy Joel is faking a brain tumor because he doesn't want to appear with
Good for him.
He's good for him. He'll probably fake his death too, just to avoid doing a concert with Rod Stewart.
God bless Billy Joel, but if you know a little about him, he really goes out of his way, in my opinion. I mean, he does not identify as Jewish. He claims he's race. I mean, yes, he's genetically so, but I believe, he doesn't identify as. Or I just remember reading that at some point in the past. Maybe he's changed, but I do remember reading.
I agree. He does not identify as Jewish.
Yeah. So it's an ambivalent one, Bob Dylan.
It's okay. I identify enough for both of us.
Exactly. And so, who else does identify enough for both? It's Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen.
Bob Dylan?
Bob Dylan he had his photo taken at the Western Wall. And it was
Bob Dylan's so Jewish, he converted twice?
Converted once.
Well,
but,
he came back.
He did come back. Yeah, no, he's.
And if I remember right, he's come back twice because he his Christianity twice.
Well, maybe. I don't know definitively. You know, his son-in-law is Peter Himmelman, who's Orthodox.
No, didn't know that.
Yeah, his
Himmelman.
Yeah, he's a musician in his own right, Peter Himmelman. Dylan's oldest daughter, Maria Dillon, married Peter Himmelman. They've been married a long time. Dylan is he may very well be a great-grandfather because they may have already had grandkids. But, and they go to Israel every summer. He did the music for he has a whole career as a rock star, always Shomer Shabbat. And also as a TV music composer. I know he did Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know what else. He goes to Israel every summer. And he has certainly had some kind of influence on Bob Dylan. Most famously, in the early to mid-'90s, they appeared on a Chabad telethon together. Dylan, Peter Himmelman, and the actor Harry Dean Stanton doing klezmer music. It's on YouTube. And that's it for now. I've landed. Thank you. I'll just share a little anecdote also before I stop. And that's my topic on Dylan. The other thing that's happened is that I recently redecorated or reorganized my home. And then last night I had some people over. And there's nothing like having other people's perspective on your home. And so today I was like, suddenly I'd change all these things, rearrange things, I'm going shopping, etc. So I'm just saying that's a brand new experience for me because I usually just entertain, people for work or close family. But this was other people, and they really saw my apartment, and I saw it through their eyes, and it was a whole new thing. Thanks.
So what did they say? I want to know what they thought.
Well, they just commented on this and that, and certainly they were impressed by my TV. They were impressed by the size of my TV, I'll admit it.
Yo, Casey?
I almost turned it on, but I didn't turn it on. And that's it, just little things here and there. All right, I'll say one more thing. I'm going to remove a desk. I have a very generic-looking desk, and I'm going to go antiquing and look for a new desk to replace it because it looks a little too office-y. And so that's an observation that I made after looking at things through their eyes.
Is the desk really a desk? Really
David, your Bluetooth. David, your... Thank you. Please continue.
Okay,
It's a cut above Office Depot, but it's nothing special. And I really,
I just didn't know. You know how your desk could, especially in New York, things double as other things sometimes. So is your desk always your desk is what I was asking, or does it become like a bar?
That's a good idea. That's a great idea. No, it's straight desk. I have a dining room table, but I also have 2 straight desks because I work from my home. And but I'm going to replace one of them with some kind of antique or something special.
I have a desk, but it doesn't really look like a desk. It's in my living room, and it's like the sofa table is behind the sofa. And it actually my mom found it in the garbage in the city, and I now own it. And I use it as a desk, but then when people come, it could either be another table for them to eat at, but I use it to serve off of.
Right.
So.
That's what I'm looking for. Something along those lines. I'll buy yours.
Yeah, if only it was still in the city.
Yeah. All right. So where do you go for antiquing when you lived in New York? Where would you go for antiquing?
I got a lot of stuff on the street from my old neighbors. This is after I moved out of my mom's. With my old neighbors. And I just had a studio apartment, so I didn't really have that much furniture.
So we're going to go up to somewhere like Hudson County or one of the towns up there, There's towns up there that have 3 or 4 antique shops, whatever you
Yeah,
want to call
there's, and then the other place I was just was I in Westport? I was just in, I think it was in Fairfield or Westport. I was in Westport. There's a lot of, Connecticut antiquing, but the place that I went to was definitely expensive. Well, that's what I do is antique. So it was expensive to me, but for, Connecticut prices, it was pretty normal. And who was it? Laura Spencer. Do you know Laura Spencer from, I don't know if she's a Today Show or one of those shows.
Yeah,
she had
I know the name, yeah.
She had a show called Flea Market Flip. She has a booth there. So that's where really I wanted to go see what she had. But, Hudson, what is the other place that it'll come to me.
I texted my daughter. We went in December. I just don't remember the town. Like one town, there were like 4 places. So, adjacent.
There's also a good flea market, actually, where she would go to the Elephant Trunk in Connecticut. That's a good flea market.
In what town?
And then, I don't know.
I'll look it up. Elephant Trunk Flea Market.
I was trying to remember what my dad drove me there one time.
Yeah. I'll look it up.
And in the city, I would go to the Bazaar on the west side. That's on 7. I would go there.
I know it. Chelsea.
I would go to Chelsea. That's where I used to just always go. Just to all those places, just to look.
All right. Yeah. Well, so all I'm saying is it's a whole new thing. It's a whole new mind frame that I'm in since last night. So, moving on. So thanks for illuminating me, and I'll keep you posted.
And we can bore everybody else. It was great.
Oh no, I was bored long with you. I was already bored.
I don't even say we got this far. Oh, I'm up. Oh.
Thank you.
I'm up.
About damn time.
That was my invitation of the snore. Thank you.
I'm at the cottage, bitch. Bitch, you gonna go kayaking? I just built my kayak, but no, I'm getting a couple gross.
Hell yeah.
You're at the cottage by yourself up in there in the north?
Oh yeah, I'm not by myself. Thank God. I don't even have the dog. Oh shit, I keep locking myself in. Okay, I'm back, bitches. One of the locks is fun.
Oh, thank God it's you. Scared away the undesirables.
Alright.
Yeah.
I generally block them, so they can't come in anyway.
Well, we have different opinions of undesirables. One's undesirables, another's accepted friend of the group.
Is there a specific person you would like to refer to?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Not at this time. Not at this juncture.
Not at this juncture.
No, ma'am.
Fair enough. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Alright. Time to go get me some fruit. I totally understand teenage pregnancy. Like, there's not much to do in the country.
Weren't you a teenage pregnancy?
Wow. Thanks. I'm just gonna let that sit there.
Why? Why is that not a thing I can say? What's the one that
Hi.
you know?
What?
For a minute I cut out, so I didn't hear any of that.
Girl.
Oh no, I said, oh thanks, seriously. Like, it's sweet that you think I was a teenager.
Were you?
No comment.
Okay.
Let that sit there.
Okay. Well, I'm very happy for you. Whatever age you were.
Ada Moon.
Girl. No, it was fucking Roya. If you want me to be real. She came in here all fucking hot and then like was super rude to me and Elle, and then I called her out on it and she was like, oh, Leslie, oh.
Girl on girl hate.
No.
I'm here for it. I mean, I totally identify as a heterosexual woman, but I don't identify as someone who's a feminist and supports women. Like, women are bitches.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, there's a ton of women that don't like me, and you know, I just step back. Like I feel like in this way I act like a dude.
I'd like you to know I'm not one of them.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general, like women, like we shouldn't be in positions of power.
So the vibe is off.
Yeah.
Where are you going now?
I mean, I just unpacked everything. I set up the kayak. Hopefully it doesn't leak. There's no major hole. Yeah, and so I'm just gonna head into town and get like just a couple fresh fruits to have for the weekend. Actually, it's pretty cool. I stopped by like one of those off-road things, and I went to get a coffee, and the coffee experience was pretty dreadful. However, they had this pre-meal thing, and so they basically handed me a bunch of free groceries. And I was like, okay, like chicken, like fresh vegetables, because they're trying to promote this like meal prep company. They handed me out a huge bag full of free foods. I was like, sure, I'll take it. And made getting the shitty coffee like more worthwhile. And I'm not saying we have an Indian problem. I'm just saying that the people behind the Tim Hortons coffee were Indian, and I provided very specific instructions for my coffee, and I got none of it. And then I had to wait an extra 10 minutes just to do it 2 more times. So. They should import people from Italy to make coffee here. Am I boring everyone, or like I don't know if you can?
No, I'll talk about coffee all day, but they need to train the people here is what they need to do.
So basically I was like, oh, who's on actual? Let's use it. Yeah, no, my instructions were very specific. She put it into a computer, but like I ordered a coffee with almond milk and a bottle of water. I didn't get the bottle of water, and they gave me a coffee with milk, regular milk, all those things. So it's like, is it not on the computer? Like, how is that so hard? It's Tim Hortons. It's like McDonald's for coffee. Anyway, I still think they should import people in much better.
If somebody doesn't care, it doesn't matter what nationality they are.